Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 217. Back down in the basement to talk about another week of wrestling. We'll talk about AEW Dynamite, NXT, Raw, one thing from TNA because I tuned in for one thing, didn't like it, turned it off. You remember what it was? We'll get there. It was about the worst timing probably to tune in.
I honestly don't. I feel like I should know.
We'll talk some news.
I watched one thing from SmackDown, so if I remember to mention
Okay,
it.
yeah, we'll hit that. So one SmackDown nugget, some news, some rumors, some trivia, some action figure stuff maybe. I don't know. Is there wrestling figure stuff?
I don't remember what I said last week.
But there's timestamps, so you can jump around, whatever you want. We're going to talk a little bit. I'm just battling to get through this episode. I am a tired man today. I had a great time. It was worth it. Well-earned fatigue. A couple high school friends. We went to a comedy show last night, and then ended up playing darts till about 1 a.m, and then just chatting till 2 a.m, and then got up at 7:30 and drove home to record. And your brother has playoffs there's one league of basketball, so I got to get to that. But I feel surprisingly good considering I was up super late, and I'm not used to that. My stamina is not good. Yeah, I don't know. Our banter was super weak last week. We should have planned this off air this week.
I guess we can say we did All Out already.
Oh, that's a very good point. We watched All Out. We freaking loved it. So for the first time ever, I think, on Jack's recommendation, he was like, we should probably record something. So it's already out there. If you follow us, you probably saw it already. But yeah, we got to that, I think, on Monday, right? So
Sunday.
We did it on, right, because it was Saturday.
Yeah.
Fantastic pay-per-view, Osprey, Pac, and the main event of Hangman.
I've already watched, I think,
incredible.
Pac and Osprey again twice.
And you're not sure if you're ready to watch Hangman swerve.
Yeah, it's more so because they're both really good, but the Pac Osprey is much easier to rewatch.
Yeah.
So
I was telling Paul instead about that match, like, oh, it was a crazy match, and then I went into details, and I'm like, they're actually, because these are non-wrestling guys either. Like, they'll talk about it because they know I'm into it and that they love that we do this podcast together. They think it's super cool, but just saying, like, yeah, you're actually watching them pull the staples out, and you're watching them staple pictures to his face, and they're just like, what the heck? And there's like, and in the previous one, the one guy's drinking the other guy's blood, and they're just like, what are you watching?
There's a cinder block.
No, I didn't even talk about the cinder block.
What about the syringe?
I did mention the syringe. I did not talk about the cinder block. I forgot that.
Cinder block's rather tame in the grand scheme.
They were quite like, what is this? I'm like, it's not WWE, right?
I've explained it to some people. I feel like it's one of those times where it just makes me seem like a sicko.
Right. And I even said, like, Jack loved the match, but is like, I don't know when I'll watch it again exactly. Because
it was something, but like generally a really strong show.
So yeah, great show. You can go back and check that out. And then what's the next pay-per-view that's coming for us? Is there anything on the horizon, WWE or AEW?
Bad Blood is soon.
Oh, right.
Say it's beginning of October.
That's starting to take shape, right?
Late October will be Wrestle Dream, which is more.
Didn't we love Wrestle Dream last year?
To us. Yeah, that was Strawberry Danielson, the first one. That was the first Swerve Hangman match.
Right. That was a good time.
Who was MJF was champion, but I don't think. Oh, that was when he beat the Righteous by himself.
Oh, right. I love that.
There's
decision.
A 4-way tag.
Speaking of the Righteous,
the Guns won. I think I do remember being like a strong show, but I think it got beat out by Full Gear, which was later on,
right?
Because that was Texas Death, and
right? Texas Death.
MJF Switchblade,
sure.
Which a lot of people didn't like, but I really liked.
We liked it. I think I did too. Yeah,
I thought it was really strong. But
I liked what we watched on TV this week. I thought Dynamite was cool.
Agreed. Yeah,
NXT I thought was pretty enjoyable. Raw was hit and miss. I sort of organized Raw a bit
got
differently.
a new look.
Does it?
Well, yeah, because they changed the Trons and the logos because now they switch networks.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now it's on the same network that Raw's on, but obviously Raw is going to be.
I'm very excited for one news item that's coming up.
I know you are.
I figured I'd let you lead with that one when we get there.
I will.
Because it's exciting to talk about. But anyways, maybe we should get to that point and start talking about it. First segment every week, taking a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so ratings this week. What a weird thing for you to say before I go to the news. Sorry, would you care to repeat that now that I'm recording? You just what?
I just pogo flipped a sword into my crotch.
Pogo flipped a sword into your crotch. Congratulations. I'm a proud father. I've done it, guys. This is
peak parenting.
Like, I could shut her down now because
you can just give up now. You don't even need to bother with life.
That's it. I'm done. I've done my job. I can retire, move on.
Everything you need to do has been done.
That's it. So NXT this week averaged 628,000 viewers, down 0.5%. So basically the same. 0.19 up 11.8 in the key demographic, considering it was up against the U.S. presidential debate that was like 70 million people almost watching. It's surprising that basically no wrestling fans went to watch. So clearly, like, either they're super loyal to NXT or they're
Or they
like,
just really don't care
that is
about
not an
American
interest.
politics.
Right.
Yeah.
The wrestling fans
Or
do not care.
it's a lot of international fans.
Or yes, that
Right?
too. Or do not care enough about the debate. But yeah, it could be international.
That could be it for sure.
And Dynamite, 716,000 this week, up 8.5%, earned a 0.19. That's down 17.4%. Best audience for the show since Blood and Guts, whenever that was. That's a detail you
July
should know.
24th.
Wow. Not only the month, but the day.
I think that has to be it. Hold on.
That's strange. So, and you now,
Aha!
nice. You hit me with the good news. I'm gonna savor this.
Nailed it.
Savor this news. Go ahead, hit me with it.
I don't even have a good one to joke
because you
with.
wanted like put it.
I don't even have a good one. Like, I could like I'm not even gonna bother.
We're not professional folks. We don't prepare.
I'm not even gonna bother.
You're not here for the preparation and the scripting. I don't think.
I'm like looking for something boring right now. Like, oh, I got it.
Yep. Okay. The big news this week is I'll set you up again. The big news this week. Go ahead.
Kiana James is set for a time on the sidelines.
That's too bad.
I think she's
taking a break from her all the momentum she's carrying.
Yeah,
right
sideline
now.
With the leg injury, be out for 6 months. Anywho, that is Raw related, which is to say that they're going to back to 2 hours on October 7th for the rest of the year.
Amazing.
That's insane.
Like, the best news. Like, you can't, I say it all the time, I can't watch 3 hours in one sitting. It used to be I couldn't watch 3 hours of Raw at all. Then it actually got pretty good, or like more good than bad. There's still no shot that I'm doing it in one sitting, and no shot that I'm doing it without skipping, like, you can skip a minute of their entrance here. You can skip 30 seconds of the post-match standing in the ring, raising their hand there. You know, I'd probably chop off 15 to 20 minutes without missing anything either. So that'll be super manageable now. That's great. Now,
I wonder if
was there a reason?
I don't actually know.
Just
but
to be nice.
I feel like it's
amazing.
I'm curious to see if it's going to stick around.
I'm on the record basically saying 3 hours of anything's too much. Almost anything. Maybe not pickleball.
Yeah, so it'll be until the 30th of December, which will be their last broadcast on USA.
So on Netflix, the advertising revenue can't be the same, right? Maybe now it is.
I'm wondering how it works.
We don't get commercials on Netflix, but is that because we pay for some tier?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But is it like? Because I guess it can't air live. Like, how does this work?
I don't know.
Because
it's gonna be weird.
Netflix doesn't do that,
or do they? And I just don't know. Or can they?
There's no way we don't know.
I don't know many things. The things I don't know,
though, like we would, you know what I mean?
True.
It's not the same as like Disney Plus when there's a new Star Wars show. It's coming out every week. Because that's not filming. It's already been filmed.
It's in the can, as they say.
It's like being released live, but it's not
right.
happening as I'm not watching this guy chop up 7 Jedi.
Right.
As it's happening, right? Like,
and you will have spoilers everywhere.
Yeah.
If you try and do it with wrestling.
So right, that always happens with like anytime SmackDown or Raw will tape for 1 week.
You know everything.
You see
everything.
Like that's a news story. It is.
Someone's releasing camera footage from their phone.
I remember when they taped Great American Bash in 2020, like we knew Keith Lee was gonna get the double belts.
Exactly.
A couple weeks before, remember?
I remember that. Who leaked that? And it was like one of the Indusheer, wasn't it?
Something like that.
And they were like,
I was thinking Cesar Bononi, but wasn't he a leak in AEW in the pandemic because he came from NXT to
Right. No, I think it was one of like took a little bit of heat backstage or whatever because it was like congratulated Keith Lee on winning both the titles.
But it was
or
too early or something.
I think it was.
Yeah, but anyways.
Look at me remember. You don't remember anything. It's all me.
It'll be interesting to see how this all transpires once it's on Netflix.
Agree. Very excited to hear that it's 2 hours, even for however many weeks. How many weeks? 6?
Just for the rest of the year.
Okay, that's fine. Fine by me.
Once October hits, obviously.
So news, it was weird. I had my usual, I won't say which site because they don't pay me anything, but the one site I go to for most of my news, you scroll through. I almost thought about changing this to this segment to something else. I had a clever title now. I can't remember. Something involving clickbait. Like what headline got you to sort of click on it? You know what I mean? So my normal site, there was like nothing. And then I switched.
This is news to me.
I switched to one of the ones that, I don't want to say dirt sheety, but they're definitely a little more liberal with what they define as news. And it was suddenly like every other headline was interesting. So I got at least a few.
Well, once you change your standards, anything can be something.
And this makes more sense too after seeing Dynamite this week. But Meltzer says that Danielson Allen was seriously discussed for Wrestle Dream, with Allen possibly being champion.
I think it's because I saw Danielson wants a Washington, or he's always said he wanted Washington to retire him. And I guess Darby's like a pillar and also future star kind of thing.
And like he's from close to Seattle where Wrestle Dream is too. But
I think it's in Tacoma.
Now that the way the Moxley thing's rolling, like that's where the money is. So they're maybe changing course, right?
Yeah, no offense to Darby. I feel like that's just the way you go.
Yeah, not Darby's time yet, maybe.
No, which I feel like we said for a while, but he's also still like super young, right? So it's okay.
But they're sort of introducing a story. I don't want to stomp on anything from later, but the story they're telling with Mox.
Yeah, he's 31. He's chilling.
The story he's telling with Mox right now also sets him up to circle back around to Moxley when Moxley's champion, maybe. And that's when you do Darby.
I agree.
Don't know.
Darby could be Moxley because if, I guess, we'll be talking more about this, but if Moxley beats Danielson, he doesn't need a long run because he's already had the title 3 times. He's had the title the most reigns.
Like transitional's too strong of a word, but you know what? Like
I'm thinking something like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe wasn't quite transitional, but it wasn't lengthy.
And if you want to make Darby a champion, which I think you should, then you want to be like, what's the money match? What's a feud that will really define things? That's one you
because they've already mentioned his history with Mox, and he has a history of showing out against Moxley, but losing.
And even their interaction on Dynamite this week was sort of the root.
For sure. I feel like Moxley could win at Wrestle Dream, hold the belt for the rest of the year, and then we see where we're at in 2025.
Yes, for sure.
And then Jay White wins it at Grand Slam because
Takeshita?
He's Australian.
There you go.
He's not. He's from New Zealand.
That's right. Oh, and he can't make that mistake. That's not appreciated, I don't think.
Takeshita can have Okada's belt as he will win the C2 this year. That is my bold proclamation.
That would be cool. Seems like, and you could put him as like he's a tournament performer, right? Because he went over and was crushing G1.
It writes itself. And we'll also talk about that later because it'll come out.
Okay. What do you have?
It's kind of lame now. I don't really need it because I found other stuff, but I'll keep going with it. Bad Blood card updates.
Oh yeah.
As rumored, we're getting Punk, McIntyre, and Hell in a Cell.
That is one of the things I skip on Raw is when they start. That's another one of my skip like 90 seconds. Sorry. So go ahead, Punk, Hell in a Cell. Yes.
And then boring. No, thank you. Is Reigns and Cody against Solo and Fatu.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Was that an announced on Raw? Because I watched Raw
yesterday.
Okay, good. I was like, did I miss that?
So boring. Because and Cody does not need to be involved in this anymore.
No,
literally, his whole thing on SmackDown was like, "It's Roman's business. I'm done." And then Roman was like, he said he didn't need to team with Cody, and so then Cody came back out, and now they're like doing this "can they coexist" thing.
Yeah,
and I guarantee 100%. Instead of Sami Zayn, Cody's gonna be in the War Games with the Bloodline. It'll be Roman, Usos, Cody against Timu Bloodline.
Timu Bloodline, nice.
That's what some people call them.
I like it.
That's what they call it. They're called in some circles.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Minus Fatu, we love
Fatu.
He's our boy.
Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Other things I have rumors of the Machine Guns finally debuting in NXT, possibly on the premiere episode of CW.
That feels like what it has to be, right?
And at this point, I'm in the like, do whatever you need to do to make Fraxium Machine Guns happen, right?
That's so I'll piggyback off of you. That they have reportedly signed. They're not going to use their TNA theme, but they have a Death Rebel track in the works. They will keep their names. And they reportedly sued a great deal and are expected to build to said match against Fraxium, which has to be
awesome.
The end goal. That could be a tag match of the year contender easily. And then it's expected to be an extended run in NXT before they move up to the main roster. So I could see them in main roster maybe by post-Mania next year if they want to do an extended run. Quote unquote.
And taking notes on that match. That'd be tough, man.
You need to hope it's on the PLE so you have an excuse to like not take notes.
I went with a lot of not taking notes this week, and I kind of like how things turned out. We'll get to it. I feel like I've trimmed the fat, but I think Dynamites are one where we really go into,
one, which is great that I'm doing that.
And I guess this is where my legwork go into less detail on the other ones and hit them a little quickly. So that's
okay. This is where my legwork comes in.
I
guess I kind of piggyback. So if you have another one, then
yes, good news for us as AEW as wrestling fans. I like to say we like good wrestling, whatever company it comes from, right? But new TV deal between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery.
Have you seen all the stuff about Shockwave?
That's coming up, yeah. Okay. So Discovery, it's considered finalized, not officially announced when I looked this up the other day. So considered to be at least double of the current deal. So the current one they say is approximately $70 million annually. So the new one's about double that. So that's great news in terms of like I say, right? You don't need crowd sizes, yes, are an indication of whatever, but as long as that TV money comes through, everything
They'll
else is kind
survive,
of
yeah.
gravy, right? So, and another detail apparently is that the new deal won't be exclusive, and that they're negotiating with Fox for a deal involving a 1-hour show called Shockwave
Which I feel like
that they filed a trademark for
could
already.
replace Rampage,
Could.
but would be the
And
same.
be on a different network.
But it would be the same. I guarantee.
The
It would.
same in terms of importance, I feel like, yes.
Importance
Or lack
care,
thereof.
Except unlike Rampage, it will not have
Well-developed storylines.
It will not have the same start because second episode Rampage
Was?
Chicago Phil.
Oh, right.
And like I even saw like the clip the other day. Is I forgot about like Yuta when his star was kind of made with
Mox?
against Moxley.
Yeah.
That was a Rampage match.
I remember that match. You know how that's
that was a great thing, and that was a Rampage match. So
Yeah.
like, they need to just like it can be a step below because it's always going to be, but like I feel like it shouldn't just be throwing stuff on there because it's always just been a step above Dark or I guess ROH if you want to call it. So I think they need to like, I think maybe putting it as Shockwave, even if it is largely the same, is a blessing in disguise because that could give you an excuse to just kind of breathe some life into it and like put some minor storylines on there, or even just use it as supplemental to the major storylines, right? Like
yes, or like an NXT where there's separate stuff going on. Even I don't know.
Yeah, like just kind of and use
instead
it
of just hey random match, kind of no need to watch it.
And
I think it was amazing.
We need to rebrand the mid card titles, specifically the 2 network titles. Considering now the TNT title is like that should stay on Collision. Then what are we gonna have, a Fox title? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like since we've rebranded the international title, no problem. I just say we make these women's and men's TV titles like they do for ROH.
I would be cool with that. I love TV
just
titles.
Keep the both. That's essentially what they are. It's just I feel like naming it specifically after the network kind of puts it in this weird box. Like it doesn't. Not necessarily. It's just it's odd.
And I think it helps. Like it's not defended on PLE or pay-per-views. Really, like that's fine. This is the one that's on TV.
Yeah. So I would like them to change that. If they're going to be on 3 different networks, you might as well.
Yeah. So bottom line is huge bump in their contract, which is good for their stability, which is good because we enjoy what they do generally, right? Yeah. Good news for us. I have one more, kind of.
WWE is reportedly going to scrap Def Rebel as their music partner. They'll not renew the contract when it expires, which I think should be soonish if this is news.
Is this one of the ones you like them or don't like them?
Expected to use mainstream artists moving forward. I like them somewhat because they've caught a lot of flack lately from people for like, the generic themes that always say people's names in them. But and I think a lot of them I usually skip over, but there's also a lot of gems I like. Like Rollins' current theme is a good one.
Yeah.
The first Tribal Chief theme. Cole's theme, O'Reilly's theme, Tyler Rust's theme. Oh, whoops.
Tyler Rust. Been talked about twice. Once off air, I think. But just know he's been talked about twice in the studio this morning.
I think, I'm just trying to think. Oh, Pete Dunne's is really good.
Yeah.
There's other ones probably.
I'm sure.
But like, there's still a lot of good stuff that they've done, and I do always prefer the CFOS themes.
You do.
Because those were some golden ones, Undisputed Era, stuff like that. But I don't know. I'll be interested to see what they do, and like, if they're releasing through multiple artists, how they're going to release them on iTunes and whatnot. Because right now they just release through Def Rebel.
Yeah.
So it'll see, like, I want to, like, there'll be a WWE account that'll start.
Right. Populating with their themes.
Blank theme featuring
so-and-so.
Insert name here.
And you care about that more than most. Your theme aficionado, for sure. Last thing I have, it was, this is the headline. Ready? And I'll explain why. I don't know why I put it in here. Dave Bautista on potentially appearing as Prince Puma in AEW because I turned to look at something happened out of the corner of my eye, and when I turned back, I combined 2 headlines. So in my mind, that was the headline because I combined a Dave Bautista headline, and then the one right underneath it was obviously Ricochet on. But so I merged them in my mind, and it made me laugh, so I put it in. So yeah, it was Dave Bautista on potentially appearing as Prince Puma in AEW, and I was like, because
those are 3 completely unrelated things.
And I don't know if you've seen recently, like he's cut a whole bunch of weight. Yeah. Right? Like, so I'm like, still what? Like he's down to 230 or whatever. But so he's gonna play Prince Puma.
He looks like someone dehydrated Batista.
So there was like about a 12-second window where I was like, what? And then I was like, no, I just looked away, looked back, and merged 2 headlines together. So it's not true. Something. That is a rumor.
Last one is the October 8th NXT, which I think will be the second one on the CW. in with the one in St. Louis has been moved to a smaller venue. It was originally set for the Enterprise Center, which holds around 17,000, but they moved it to the factory in Chesterfield, Missouri, which holds around 3,000. And so this will be the NXT
Wow,
with,
that's significant.
yeah, guess not really selling or something.
That has to be. If they were thinking they were going to sell 17, they're not, unless there's some
And this will be
natural
the one
disaster or
where
something.
Orton's appearing, because I think the first one's in Chicago,
Hooray.
so you know who's
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Then this one's in Missouri, so it's Orton
Well,
country.
in Punk, we got, I don't know if I mentioned or not, because I gloss over some stuff on NXT, but like a social media thing where he wants to talk to Julia. He has an idea. So
He
anticipate that, everybody.
could not.
Yeah. So that's it for news for us, I think, yes? We'll go into our most detailed review as we discussed. It's where Jack took a lot of notes and I have opinions on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, you can go ahead. Talk about Dynamite.
So a bit of a different start to the show was just right into a Moxley vignette.
Really smart to follow up because that was what everybody's talking about from last week. So it's kind of like, no waiting. We're going to get to this right away. I think that was the right. And I'm not always a segment to start a show guy, but like, I think you kind of had to do that here.
And no intro is interesting. Like,
that
no
too,
show
yeah.
intro.
Like,
it was just this.
Right into it. It's almost like this is that important, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Moxley admitted he didn't enjoy what he did to Danielson, but he did what needed to be done. He talked about 2 years ago they made a commitment to build something sustainable that they could be proud of. And so there's like this kind of interspliced with clips of Moxley and crew leaving All Out, walking backstage. You see Brian being like not even stretchered out, but just like carried by a bunch of people, which is weird. They didn't have a stretcher. He said he sees egos around him, everything's out of control, and he can't take it anymore. He said their mentor called Brian the perfect wrestler because he was always Lordship's favorite, but he saw himself in Mox. He said he's far from perfect. He said his mentor, obviously Regal, that said that they are what they are and they can't pretend to be anything else. He's no villain and no hero, but he's the one true king of these lands. He said that they tried Brian's way, but diplomacy has failed, and today I choose war. And then he went in the back of a truck and left.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
A lot. And different starts to the show.
It was.
And you would have been around at this time, so I'll say it to you, but it kind of just like the go between him speaking and then them kind of walking through backstage and like the dark cut of it. It felt like kind of dark, gritty, kind of reminded me of the OG Shield vignettes. Like something that kind of style, like talking to the camera and then like footage of them kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have you carry on. I just have to look for something quickly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but his rationale makes sense here. Danielson was a lot more aggressive, and even when they formed Blackpool, he was coming off that heel run against Hangman, right?
Yeah.
When they formed, and so now I feel like in Mox's eyes, he's gone soft. His career winds down, and he's like trying to get his fairy tale ending, kind of like what Perry said. Like he's focused on that, right?
It was so like
his focus kind of shift.
We tried your way. You're the empathetic patient one, and like because we sort of gave into that, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah,
and so I need to send the message that like we're done doing it your way and we're doing it my way.
I like that because it made a lot of sense and
it does.
It works for him, but I like it 'cause it's a justifiable reason, but it doesn't justify specifically what he did.
Right? Yeah. Like yes, what you're saying makes sense is that you want to do this a different way, and he's the guy that you perceive as standing in your way.
But it doesn't justify how you went about that.
But the message is clearly sent, right? So he sounded fantastic, and yeah, like Danielson was the chosen one, so we sort of deferred to you for a little bit. Like the line of that's what I was looking for. You don't have the stomach for this, right? Like we're going a route that you can't handle, so we need to just make it clear that we are done with you. I thought this was awesome. And it'll be all about the follow through, right? Because they've grabbed people's attention for sure. And Moxley, like, this is top level guy, right? Like he's in with I don't want to say subtle tweak to his character, but it's not a complete overhaul, but it's also like different and super believable already.
Yeah.
And so I love that they addressed this right away, and I like the way they explained it too. It all makes sense.
I loved it. It was a great start. And
awesome.
We saw Darby skateboarding into the parking lot after, so I assume we'll see that follow up later as well.
So awesome. I feel like we were talking about it. We're sort of resetting and getting some storylines that I really enjoy and some characters like Mox's character is awesome right now. Paige is awesome right now. Swerve's awesome right now.
I even say like with
Danielson's
the next
awesome right
segment,
now.
they're picking up the Luchasaurus thing again,
Yes.
which is another
So I
storyline.
feel like we were in a bit of a down cycle where I wasn't enjoying some of the stuff going on, and I feel like after All In and All Out, we're sort of like reset buttons hit, and I'm enjoying stuff.
Yeah,
So
for
this
sure.
is a good omen for the show for
For
me.
sure. Then we hear from Christian Cage. He's out there with like his contract, and he's got his peeps with him, not the fans, but like the patriarchy.
Yes.
He told Lexington to shut up while he conducts business, as usual. He claimed that his son, Nick, has said the word on the street is that he has infinite aura.
And just so,
That was horrible.
but the beauty of this is like the guy who plays the father figure using like the teen language for cringe effect, right? It's like so
It
on
was
brand.
perfectly done. I hated
Yeah.
it, but
He's the dad, so he's gonna try and use the kid language. Hey, fellow
Ew.
kids, like I have infinite aura.
He did
So
it-
yeah, I love
He
that.
did it pretty well here.
did.
Christian said he's carried this company for the last year and a half, so it's true. He said the trios ladder match didn't go their way, but they rallied to win, and he won the gauntlet match at All In. He said when Kill Switch grabbed him by the throat in the gauntlet match, he saw something that he wanted to see for the last 2 years. He said he realized what Christian needs him to be as the most complete big man in the business. He's like hyping him up, and you see Luchasaurus getting hyped, and he's like, but he belongs to me. So it kind of like
Yeah, you're
brings
still
him back in line.
property, basically.
Yeah. Fans are chanting Luchasaurus more, so he said his name's Kill Switch. So again, that's picking back up a bit. He said Danielson's days as champion are numbered. He said he'll beat Bryan so bad that his wife Brie will wish she was the one with CTE, so she couldn't comprehend how embarrassing Bryan has been as
That was
champion.
tough.
Who does have CTE? Does he or like?
I think it's that Danielson basically may have been suffering from that, or will be, or
Ah.
something, because a part of his like head and neck stuff, maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Christian said not only is he the face of TBS, but he's the reigning, defending, undisputed next AEW World Champion, which will be a funny thing to run with for a while
Yeah.
until he cashes in.
Yeah, and I think that's the point, right? Is we're gonna get little Christian segments where he can just rip on people, and he doesn't have to
And
have
he'll
matches.
proclaim himself as the champion, but like not yet.
And just this looming threat of him, basically like Money in the Bank.
And then I think with this, like I enjoyed picking up the Luchasaurus angle again because they started that early in the year and then kind of dropped it for a while. I'm assuming that it has to pay off when Christian tries to cash in. Like we're gonna kind of work our way to that, and then when Christian tries to cash in, Luchasaurus is gonna be like, nope.
Yeah.
And then cause no way Christian's winning the title, right?
They have stopped and started that so much.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the only way this has to go, right? Because I don't see Christian winning the title.
There's no chance.
And I feel like this angle has to pay off. So I could see this happening by year's end.
And yeah, I think we're just gonna get little segments like this along the way. And Christian was savage here, and it makes me laugh, right? So the aura thing and the CTE stuff I thought was entertaining. So I'm always glad to have
this
Christian
is peak
doing
Christian. This was classic Christian.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
No complaints there. This is the Christian we love to see. And again, like no offense, don't need him in the main event. So Luchasaurus better come through.
I agree. And I hope that's where it goes to, because I've been waiting for that to pay off, right?
For sure. Then we get an Ospreay Callis interview. Callis said he called Ospreay here and he talks about he's undefeated in casino gauntlet matches, and we have the tag one tonight. So he suggests for him to team with Fletcher because Mark Davis died, I guess.
Careful.
Ospreay says he appreciates Don doing him the favor, letting him out of the family and go on his own, but he wants to focus on the international title. Callis, like, in like the perfect slime ball way, is like, I wasn't gonna bring that favor up, but since you mentioned it, like just perfect for Callis. He says Ospreay does owe him one.
He does.
Fletcher says he's tired of coming so close and coming up short.
Same.
If anyone knows him, it's Ospreay. So Ospreay says he's no Davis, but he agrees to it. He kind of like shakes hands with him and Callis, and then there's like a bit of this standoff with Takeshita.
Takeshita's the odd man out here. He does not appreciate it, I don't think.
I don't know why, because it could either be animosity from the match they had, or animosity for not being picked to tag with Fletcher.
Right. Why are you bringing an outsider in? Are you saying he's that much better than me that you're going outside your family to make a tag partner?
Right. So it'd be interesting.
Sure.
But I really like this. Fletcher and Ospreay is a great duo, even if I'm disappointed because it feels like a bit of a slight to Aussie Open.
And it's a bit of a we're making a super team, but
it is.
It's an awesome tag team I want to see.
I get it if Davis isn't ready, but it's still I just want Aussie Open back.
And if this is the catalyst to like unleash the Takeshita Fury,
that is true.
I'm okay with that as well, right?
The 10 standoff with Takeshita and Ospreay is interesting. I'm wondering if it's lingering hostility from Revolution. I'll take that rematch anytime. I've never seen her that. And I thought Takeshita just looks so cool standing there.
He does.
Like he just looks
Yes.
He's got that aura.
And that he's unhappy. We're not sure why, and we're hoping it's the start of something, or at
He's
least
just got that. I mean, he does have his own thing going on.
got that aura, as the kids say.
He does have something else going on, so there's also that.
Right, he does.
Ospreay and Fletcher clearly win tonight. Callis crowed too much about Ospreay never losing a gauntlet. So, kind of telegraphs it.
I didn't even notice that, but in hindsight, yes. And especially once you see who the other tag teams are in the gauntlet, you're kind of like GYV's in there, but they have stuff to do. You know what I mean? They're already doing stuff, so it was
they didn't even really get in
do anything. No.
So, yeah. Anywho, then we get Jack Perry defending the TNT Championship on TBS against Leo Rush. There is Snake Eyes.
Leo Rush?
Yeah.
How many Rushes are coming out as you read this? Under?
We'll see.
1.5?
Hopefully under.
Under? Yeah, I think now that we've pointed it out, I think if I hadn't said anything,
yeah, maybe.
There's a chance. But now.
Snake Eyes on the apron from Perry. Misdirection in the ring and then some speed. Suicide Dives from Rush. Like, he goes fast on
it.
And
it looks like he's actually
he goes
making you miss instead of like it's a prepared spot. Yeah. It actually looks like, they can't catch him.
Rush with the standing Spanish fly for 2. I just keep thinking about it now.
I know, right? I'm in your head.
Perry lawn darts Rush hard in the middle.
Looked awesome.
That got a 2 count. That always looks good. The one on Marco stunt that he hit a few weeks ago. That one was just nasty. Poison Rana from Rush. Then Rush misses his bottom rope springboard stunner. Perry kind of sidestepped, ran into the ropes, hit his running knee, then hit a second one to get the win.
First one could have been timed a tiny bit better. I get what they were doing. Really it still looked good. Cool. It still looked good. It didn't catch him out of midair, is what I would have hoped.
No, but I feel that's a little unrealistic. So I'm okay with what they did.
And Andretti got involved, but didn't really he was there, but didn't do anything.
I think it was smart because Perry was goading him for a while and kind of teasing him. So then when Andretti did get slightly involved to get payback, obviously he gets ejected, even though he's babyface. And for some reason, people cheered that.
Right. So this is kind of a cop out, I guess, but I enjoyed this for what it was. Right.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was interesting because Perry's not a big guy, but Rush is so small it allowed Perry to wrestle as the bigger aggressive guy.
Yeah.
While this guy tries to run circles around you. So I just find Leo Rush is really fun to watch and unique, right? There's nobody really working the same as him. So I thought, what was this probably an 8-minute match? I think it was
not long.
So I thought it was fun. He had to make up for the chance. Leo's not winning this match, so they gave him a bunch of time sort of in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. A solid TV match. Rush has a really entertaining and unique style, so he's always fun to watch. He's got that different kind of speed and intensity that's fun to
and he's
watch.
So small, he makes you believe that the only shot I have is by being so much quicker than the other guy. So you kind of buy into it, right?
Perry was good too. He kind of picked the spots around what Rush was doing. While not as good as the one Marcus did, the lawn dart always looks pretty killer.
Really good, yeah.
The first one you have to hit, that he hit sidestepping stunner, I thought was cool. That was well timed. Random, but a solid defense for Perry.
Agree. One of those momentum. That's the other thing. He has to get momentum back after losing to Danielson, right?
Yeah.
He's got to sort of start over again.
It's a TV title.
Not start over,
challenge,
but you know what I mean.
Then there's an interview with him walking backstage. The only thing of note that he said is people like him are crucified in this life so they can be worshipped in the next.
The more sacrificial imagery stuff.
He says cool things.
Yep.
Then we get an interview with Angry Hangman.
Mine says Hangman with Renee, and he's mad.
It's your girlfriend.
It's your girlfriend, and I'm mad.
Paige said if he found 1,000 houses that Swerve Strickland called home, then he would have burned them all down. I love that. Just
so good.
Not after what he did and what I had to witness, just do the complete opposite of remorse.
He's a believable psychopath right now, right? He's really, really good.
It's kind of highlighted by his interaction with Dark Order here, but the contrast between this and 2021 Hangman when he was fighting the Elite is crazy.
And that's why the guy is so talented, right? So we loved babyface Hangman and the self-doubting sort of insecure
Fight for the Fallen entrance 2021. I'll cherish that forever.
And now he's this, and it's still awesome.
Yeah, it's just I love the audacity to just completely double down on what he did.
Yeah, not only am I not sorry, I will do it 1,000 times. Yeah.
He said he meant every word he said to him while saying his payback for what Swerve did to his family. And I like that because, obviously what Swerve did was messed up invading his house, but, burning the house is, it's so far in the other direction.
And that segment we will talk about on our end of the year awards for sure. That'll come up.
That match, the segment, the feud.
Everything.
Paige said he meant it. He said if you try to protect Swerve from him, he will find you and hurt you. He walked away, then he knocked down one of the top flight guys. Dark Order, he walks by them, and they're like, we don't even know you anymore.
Yeah.
Then Jarrett says something. I don't even care. They fight. People break it up.
But I think the point, like, forget that it's Jarrett, because that's not our ideal choice, obviously. But Paige said it right. I'm still obsessed with Swerve, and if you get in my way of Swerve or you try and whatever, then you're my next target. So I think that gives Paige.
It does make sense, but
it gives Paige a way to like not keep going with Swerve directly now, but still get to it. And anybody that tries to talk any sense into him, like he's just. And so this is just the first one, and it's Jarrett, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I like that that's a path for Paige. Like anyone that tries to talk me out of this or gets in the way of Swerve, like you're done.
Where's best?
And I think Paige looks awesome, like the crazy hair and the mustache, and he's killing it for me with this new character, especially.
Where's best character? There it is.
Especially like on the heels of the match they just had too, right? So
yeah,
sure. I'm not thrilled that it's Jeff Jarrett. Everyone that listens to us knows how we feel about that, but
I added them to best feud and then best character for Hangman.
So I get where they're going with it, and I kind of like it. Just Jarrett wouldn't be my first pick.
So far removed from the choice I would make.
Right, but I guess the point is not for us maybe, but Jarrett's going to garner a ton of sympathy when Hangman just kills him, right?
Didn't they already try that though? That was literally Hangman's return match with Jarrett.
I know, but now he's like unhinged and psychotic, so maybe that's what it's for.
Yeah. I love that he's not in the slightest bit more sane after getting what he wanted. No. He's just, if anything, pushed him over the edge. It makes sense. I just enjoy that he's just further down this path. Jarrett's a horrible spinoff, waste of time, but.
And so he's still obsessed with Swerve, and everything he does is still somehow related to Swerve. Until he gets back to him directly.
I love this. I just also want anxious millennial cowboy Hangman back.
I know.
And also, but like it's so weird because I don't know if you can ever do that again. I mean, you can, but like, can you?
I think so, because at that time I would have said, it'd be really hard for him to do psychotic, whatever, violent Paige because he's so believable as this.
You can always go there, but then now it's like I don't know how I don't know how he goes back to sanity.
Yeah, it's true, but he's a good actor in the world of wrestling. Whatever, his character development is really good, and just like he has a legacy feud. Like this is like I don't even think is this hyperbole to say that Swerve Paige is like an all-time wrestling feud?
I think that's been
talked about. If not there on the cusp of there.
I think it's been talked about in some circles. Personally, for me, on like not even my Mount Rushmore feuds, but like just my favorite feuds in my lifetime.
It's probably there, right?
One of them. Yeah.
Right. I think at least there's an argument to be made.
I think it for sure. If you're talking AEW, 100%.
Yes.
All time, I think it deserves to be in the conversation.
And if it continues going forward, it's just going to add more.
Both of them are young enough.
Agree.
To have a few more years of this for sure. At least until one of them's out of the company.
Yep.
And I mean, we know Swerve's around for a while. I can't imagine Hangman leaves. So
I don't think so.
I would hope not, because
he fits perfectly for them.
He's perfect here.
Yeah.
Then we get Private Party and Commander versus Jobbers.
Nope.
One of them is Serpentico unmasked.
Right.
John Cruz.
They actually name check him when he gets taken out here.
It's interrupted before the match starts, and everyone gets laid out by the Packpool Combat Club.
That's it. I put PCC in my notes. Okay.
Until Moxley gives us the name, it's the Packpool Combat Club.
Yep.
And Play, of course.
And Play.
Well, I guess she's part of the Packpool.
Do we have some thoughts on Play? I mean,
hear me out.
Okay.
If it continues on this trajectory, she at least gets nominated for Best Non-Wrestling Performer.
If she doesn't wrestle, yeah, you're saying? If it stays on that?
If it stays on this trajectory.
Without speaking.
Like if she's like a China heater for DX that doesn't wrestle.
That's kind of how it feels.
I'm just saying, if they keep it like this.
She's smashing it so far.
If it, like.
And not many people were more critical of her than us.
I'm just saying. But anyways, Pat grabs the mic. He says, this company is broken. I wish I was British just so I could do this with justice.
And angrier.
And angrier. He said the company is broken. He said what happened at All Out was inevitable and they are inevitable. He said he was lost for a long time, but not anymore because he has something to believe in. He said diplomacy has failed. This company is theirs. That is a summarization.
A straightforward follow-up to Moxley's stuff, right? Like
a killer follow-up.
Here's our personal issues with Danielson. Here's our larger group collective issues with this company, right? So I thought that was awesome. And then you had Shafir just holding Commander in a guillotine with like this dead dead stare on her, like the coldest of cold. I thought she looked
then,
awesome.
Yeah, Commander's just like slumping over.
And I also like, I don't know if this is intense.
And it's cool, like, just because she's also choking out like a male wrestler, so it's also that's kind of cool,
that.
right? Like,
And she's believable as this heater. I really like it. And also, I'm hoping we're capitalizing off of. I know he didn't win, but the amazing match Pac had, and he's got probably a little more attention.
I do think
than
there's
usual.
something to be said for the momentum coming out of that. Even losing, I think there's something to be said about that.
I'm hoping, and so yeah, this idea that it's not just Moxley's group, other people are going to speak as well. I think that setting that
I
precedent.
agree. I
is
really
good.
enjoy Pac got his time in the spotlight here. And I was
Me
saying
too.
to you, like, he could easily be the spokesperson for the group if that's what they wanted to do.
Yes.
Obviously, I think Moxley probably should be and can be, but I do like that we get some time for Pac, and I hope they intersperse his work in the group because his promo style is so good, and especially now that he's definitively heel Pac is always a better Pac.
And it allows Shafir to do absolutely nothing. And I'm not trying to say like she can't. I'm saying, but in this role right now of not saying a word, and even just like, is it late? Are they back again later? Because
They are.
Okay,
Moxley
so that must be what it is. Oh, that's what it is, right? So I'll talk about it then. But she is believable as she's the first one walking ahead of them, right? And that kind of like she's protecting them, and it's believable so far. So I'm super happy with
this.
this.
Is great. Pac always sounds good. I love his promos so much. It's just,
I know.
I
And
always
people
look
are like, it's
forward.
always the same. Yeah, but it's always intense and like
It's
that's
also
him.
just always different from everyone else.
It
At least,
is.
right? And I love just the way he speaks and his word choice every time. Like, just he's got a different cadence to it.
Yeah,
and I love it.
I agree.
Everyone looked good here. Looked killer. Play looked awesome. Choking out Commander. So far, so good in this angle. They've just been like
We are saying play looked awesome. That is crazy.
Crazy in 2024.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, they've just been hitting home runs with this so far. Like,
super interesting.
Even just from like the first Moxley promo piqued my interest immensely, and it's just been smooth sailing from there. So I'm really thrilled with this so far.
Like I'm excited about Dynamite and waiting for next week to come.
I'm always excited just for this. Like this has been my main excitement week to week.
And then
we do. I was about to say we do a complete 180 with the Learning Tree promo.
I thought you might. My first note: Jack is on his phone and I am typing NXT notes. It's like immediately like full disclosure, like disengage from this.
Yeah, he has a new car. He's wearing the jacket. Cassidy ruined. He stole his backpack. There's something in there. I literally wrote this is my thoughts on this. I was on my phone the entire segment. I did not care. No idea why we were revisiting this feud from 4 years ago randomly. No want.
So I think the only detail that we need to note, because I noticed it, was Jericho says something like, you can't trust anyone in wrestling, or there's no friends in wrestling, or whatever. And you see a little spark of recognition on Big Bill's face. So I think we're going with the like Big Bill baby face
already.
I feel like even just breadcrumbing it, but it was the whole like, you can't trust anyone in wrestling. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm in a group with you, right? Kind of thing. So I feel, and add that to how he's been received lately since they were wherever overseas,
Cardiff.
right? I think maybe it might be what's called like a trial balloon, right? You float it out there, see what people talk about. If they're interested in it, listen to obviously us because we're cutting edge.
I'll talk about it after this match. They are listening to me.
The brain trust, I'm sure, of AEW are tuning into this going, listen, they seem kind of interested in
Washington.
Will Washington.
Washington.
But yes, it's Learning Tree. It's dumb.
I don't want it.
I agree.
I say you have Cass split from them.
Yeah.
Enzo and Cass, baby.
Oh, God. I don't know. Enzo, his mic work was good, and then he got lazy, kind of, but...
Oh, I don't want it, but I want it.
No, thank you.
I don't want it. Then we get Ricochet versus Samuel Guevara, first Dynamite appearance since, I don't know.
My first note says Guevara's hair is a choice. What was it? Oh, he had like a top. Yeah, that's right.
Hippie. And he's tag champs with...
Oh, no. He is tag champs with Sammy Guevara and... Who would it be? Not Briscoe, because he has a singles title.
Well, which one?
He's ROH champion.
Okay.
Yes. Guevara.
Let's play this game again and see how we do.
Guevara is tag team champions with... You talked about it last week.
It was like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, to be fair. But
okay,
still,
so then I have no shot.
But still. It was 1 or 2 weeks ago. It was fairly recent.
I don't know. I'm not.
Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, well, okay, sure.
Dustin Rhodes, what is his other belt?
Rios?
With?
2 other guys?
Yeah.
Who is it again?
Von Erichs.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, who has the women's TV title?
I was confident that it was somebody last time, and it wasn't. Red Velvet?
Yeah, okay, you got it this time.
Because I thought it was Billy Starks last time.
That is true.
And I was confident about that one.
So this is the
Still
one I answered for you last time. Who is the men's TV title?
Men's TV title. I don't know.
Atlantis Jr.
Oh, I'll never get that. We're going to revisit this every week, people, until I learn.
Okay, last one that's funny because Athena doesn't count is the pure title. I don't know if you'll remember.
Your title is... Oh, Moriarty.
Okay, so yeah, that one you do remember.
So I retained like 40%.
You retained some of your knowledge.
Pretty good.
I just suddenly forgot. You forgot Dustin Rhodes that hard.
For a person of my vintage, that's okay. Okay?
This is my new favorite game to play is what's going on in ROH.
And it's not like not kayfabe. This is shoot me just not knowing these things or remembering them.
It's like the ante.
That's why you're here.
It's the ante off the top of your head.
It is. It's off the bottom of my feet.
From the back of your mind.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll just do this. I'll do my monthly ROH check-in now and just...
Awesome. I'll study now.
I'll wait like a week after they do the next pay-per-view and just like see if you even paid attention to that at all.
No. If I saw headlines, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking is like maybe you'd see that, but even then I don't even know.
Chances of me remembering it a couple days after I saw it.
That's true.
Not great.
Dave Bautista might come into ROH as Prince Puma.
Oh, yeah. He dropped a bunch of weight.
Anyways, Spaceman Plancha from Ricochet. The way he like turned on that was beautiful.
It was pretty much perfect, yeah.
Moonsault to top of the entrance tunnel from Guevara,
also,
as you do.
Super graceful.
Tornado to the outside from Guevara. Running shooting star from Ricochet for 2. Guevara countered out of a fireman's carry into a destroyer and a huge diving cutter for 2.
I said crazy far, like the distance he had to cover, right?
And the precision on
that.
Like
he's not hit. Oh, yep, no problem.
Yeah. Guevara cuts off a roll through move from Ricochet, nails him with a knee strike. Ricochet counters the GTH, nails an axe kick to the back of the head, followed by Vertigo for the win. Then after the match, Mordos runs and absolutely tackles Ricochet with a spear.
Ricochet Mordos.
Absolutely checks him. It was awesome. Guevara chases him off with a chair.
So all due respect to Fletcher, I thought this was a better showcase for Ricochet.
I agree.
He did more of his
the styles were there, yeah.
Yeah.
Ricochet, I feel like there's still a gear he's not tapped into, especially using Vertigo as a finisher is so...
I think this was exactly what you'd expect between these two for the time given. I thought it was like...
Yeah, because it wasn't crazy long, so I think what they did made sense.
Not a psychological masterpiece, obviously, but like two super athletic dudes hitting really impressive stuff really cleanly, right? Like nothing was off here at all. And I thought Ricochet dialed up the fire in the last like sequence kind of thing that I thought was good. Something he needs to do more, maybe. So I thought this was like a really strong mid-show, TV match. And then like, if you listened and watch us, we love Taurus. So the idea of a Ricochet Taurus, and I said to you in the moment, like Taurus as a base for Ricochet is like a dream for Ricochet, right?
Oh,
so I'm super looking forward to that.
I literally requested this match, and they're listening to me.
Now, I think we do need at some point, like always with Ricochet, we need some character development with him, right? But I thought this was a better...
I'm not holding my breath, though.
This was a better showcase for him, I thought.
Super entertaining match as expected. Similar style between both these guys, so they showed up. Maybe suffers a little from falling Pac Ospreay so soon.
True.
But it's still a good TV match. Results never in doubt. Good to see Guevara in action because he's always quality in the ring. Character kind of varies.
Agree.
I love the Moros running post-match. Spear is nasty, and that's a sweet match set up. They have to be listening to me because I pitched both a Guevara and Mordos match for Ricochet, and they are listening both. So I pitched both of those.
Amazing.
Saying.
Sponsor us. Actually, no, I don't even want to be sponsored by AEW. Then I can't say what I want to say.
No,
But it depends on how much you want to sponsor.
I do want that because
if it's early retirement money, let bring it.
I also just want to see what they'll give me. See, I could easily be persuaded with a free Rock Hard T-shirt.
That's right. That and by payment, that's all it would take.
It's that and the Bang Bang.
And
shirt.
Every week we'll be like A+ Dynamite this week. Here's why Learning Tree is the segment of the year.
The long-term storytelling capabilities of Chris Jericho to stretch a story across 4 years.
Jericho makes another star on Dynamite this week. We will sell out hard, right? Like
Jericho just he wrestles Lee Johnson, and I'm just like, He made Big Shotty look like $1 million.
We will be unrecognizable from week to week. Like we're try to be super objective here and whatever, and then next week it's like WWE is terrible.
You just see me adorned in like the
Anna Jay is possibly a generational talent.
You just see me adorned in like the Juice Robinson shirt, and I'm just like the crisp connection of her thigh against Soraya's face. The match of the year potential on this one. It might have been my favorite match of all time.
Jeff Jarrett for one more run, am I right? Last run?
Jeff Jarrett to retire Bryan Danielson, ? And then Sting comes to retirement to retire Jeff Jarrett?
Yep.
I feel like that's what...
We're going full shill mode.
Will Washington is the most important person in the history of the universe. Anyways. That's true.
He might be.
That's just a fact. But if you want... I don't need to wear this shirt. I can get the Rock Hard shirt and all will be well.
Shout out Will Washington.
I've said to people... it's my destiny. That shirt is my destiny.
Fair enough.
It will be mine. If I don't have it by December this year, then I'm gonna give up on life.
Wow.
My New Year's resolution will be to wear that shirt once a week.
You could make that work.
Maybe I'll do twice a week actually, just so it's like somewhat ridiculous.
Buy multiple copies of it just to make sure.
Do you like the Charlie Brown thing? Except it's just Rock Hard.
Exactly. Same shirt every day.
That would be funny. Anywho, then we get an interview with Okada. He talks about the match at All Out. He teases like, "Oh, it was so hard fought." Then he starts crying. Then he laughs and said it was easy. Callis walks in with Takeshita saying Okada won, but he didn't beat Takeshita. Okada said he'll be a champion, putting him over, but not the Continental Champion. Okada walked off, and then he came back to say, "Bitch." Takeshita got in his face. That was cool.
Yeah, Okada still amuses me.
Great little interaction, for sure.
And, like, let's build a feud with these two, right? And I don't want to go through it too fast, to be honest. Like, if it means...
We got, like, a month, I think.
Yeah, so I think, like, this is what people want, and they've recognized this, right? Because in the multi-whatever match, you could see that this is the matchup people wanted.
You could hear it.
I'm fine with this.
Takeshita, again, he looks so cool and menacing, and just standing behind Callis.
They're underusing him for the stature that he has and like the money they're paying him, but like doesn't mean there's not a plan for him to
Okada.
Like doesn't mean there's not a plan for him to be at the top of the card eventually.
I'd argue the fact that he's got a major title or major's title, and he's in the arguable top faction, although that may be usurped by the Pac Bull Combat Club,
of course.
But arguable top faction, we'll say. I think Okada's still in a pretty prime spot just because he's not in the specific main event title picture, or having the world title doesn't mean I think he's being wasted or he's underutilized. Like, yeah, he's got the mid card title, but I think it gives that title some status, and he's super entertaining every week. Like, he's still being used.
Yeah, cut to Jay White going like, what about me, right? Like, he could have been treated like Jay White is right now.
Yeah, Jay White is injured, to be fair.
Yes.
But
even still.
Jay White was doing good before that, like with the trios titles, which again is a step down for him, but Bang Bang Gang's awesome.
That's true.
I'll always allow Bang Bang Gang.
Yep.
But Callis did the talking perfectly here. It has to happen at Wrestle Dream, because like when I think Wrestle and Dream, I think of Takeshita with a belt.
Yep.
Just makes
sense. Gonna
happen. Takeshita finally gets his goal moment. I need Tony Khan to give me what I want, or I will start punching all the chairs. Listening. I will punch all the chairs in this household.
Tony Khan, or, because we don't exactly know the power structure, it's Tony Khan or Christopher Daniels or the Young Bucks, whoever's in charge.
Or maybe even Will Washington. I don't know what power strokes he has.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, if Takeshita doesn't get this belt in a month's time, I will punch every other chair in this household.
Every other?
Well, I already punched one chair.
So spare mine.
No, I just meant I
all
punched
of the ones,
chair.
But the one you already punched?
Yes.
Not like punch, no punch, punch, no punch. Every other chair. No, words matter to me. I want to know
every chair.
What to know to expect.
The family room chair.
Okay, gotcha.
And if worse comes to worse, I'm gonna start axe kicking the couches.
Fair enough. So start with the one you guys already broke upstairs.
Yeah, the ball is in your court, Tony Khan.
Nice.
Then we hear from Darby Allin. He comes out, says somebody's been looking for him, Moxley, and he said he's right here. He looks in the corner of the arena because he's not stupid.
Correct.
So,
I mean, he's stupid at the end of this, but we'll get to that. Darby?
Stupid.
Yeah, I'll explain.
Well, offering his title shot? I guess he doesn't get anything in return.
We've talked about the negative free rolls. You don't make a bet where you can only lose things.
I agree, but I guess for him, he also hasn't beaten Moxley yet. So
then you're a dumb baby face. A little bit.
I'll take it.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it'd be funny. Moxley someday has to like in the ultimate heel move has to do the reverse misdirection where instead of coming like surprise attack from the crowd, he comes down the ramp surprise attack because like Darby's expecting from the crowd, so it's like you expect from the crowd.
It's a chess match, really. You know, you're anticipating their move. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And then what were we talking about? Was that in the street fight where it was like Will lifted her in the corner without the tax, and you were like, and then she countered, but you were like, she knew she was gonna counter, so she lifted her away from the tax. Right. And we were talking about like the mental chess layers, match there. Yeah,
exactly. Oh, there's levels to this, okay?
Yeah, that's what it was. So Mox's music hits again. I love the New Japan theme here. It's just like the darker tone of it's just so perfect for what he's been doing. Like,
it is.
Again,
it fits.
Another tweak to the character I really enjoy. So he's walking out. He's joined by Just Shafir. So again, she's the heater. She's his guard. No one. Like,
so cool. I don't get it, man.
Pac and Claudio aren't there, but worth noting was
which also kind of sends the message he doesn't need them because she's badass enough, right? So it's almost like you're further saying this about her.
It does kind of communicate that, yeah. And I was thinking, we never saw the trios belts with Pac and Claudio, so I'm curious what the situation will be. I was looking at it the other day, and they're still billed as the trios champs with Yuta. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it is a point of curiosity because obviously Yuta is not affiliated with whatever this is. So
whatever this is.
I don't know if like they're Blackpool now or if it's like
I doubt it.
I don't know because like also on the site still was that Danielson still billed in Blackpool.
They may not want to give up that brand if it sells merch, right? So
I think it's like it makes sense because like Danielson Yuta really like realistically half of the faction's still there.
And you're also saying that you were the chosen one of Regal, and it's called Blackpool Combat Club because of Regal. So then let Danielson keep. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's weird. So yeah, like Danielson's still building Blackpool, and then Pac and I guess Lucha Bros because they're still under contract. They're still building under Death Triangle. So it's weird. Like Pac is still billed as Death Triangle, but
he's straddling factions.
Not there. I mean, I saw someone say was I think Authors of Wrestling who I follow on Instagram because he's the one always posting live about AEW and whatever. And he was saying could be like Lucha Bros leaving could be one of the best things for Pac because this is a good spot for him.
It is a good spot for him.
I mean, selfishly,
Death Triangle we love.
Still want Death Triangle.
It's my favorite wrestling shirt of all time.
That's fair. And also now the dream of Death Rhombus is dead. One could argue that this is Death Rhombus with the three of them in play.
You want it that bad. You're talking yourself into like
this is the compromised Death Rhombus.
Play has gone from like our least. Did she win Worst Wrestler?
I don't know because
she was mentioned. I think she doesn't wrestle enough.
I don't think she's prominent enough, and like
now like a pillar of Death Rhombus. That's a big, that's a big.
And also when she was prominent in NXT, that was long before this.
Yes,
but like, yeah, I mean, I guess she's gone to being a pillar of Death Rhombus.
Perhaps, which is your dream, but not her necessarily.
No, I think for it to be Death Rhombus, it has to be Death Triangle still.
Yeah, I agree.
But
as much as you want,
much as I've always wanted
Death Rhombus.
This is Timu. Packpool Combat
came
Club
in a very damaged packaging that took a couple of weeks, and but it's there. It's a thing. The rhombus is there.
The rhombus is there. It's damaged. Some of the components are mixed up because it's not Lucha Bros,
but you kind of knew that going in because you couldn't afford the whatever the non-Timu one.
Yeah, exactly. The eBay,
maybe
Amazon.
I don't know. Sponsored. They don't sponsor us. They don't get any.
That's true. Even though we got Clue. Oh, I forgot
by next week we're sponsored by AEW and Amazon. You watch. You heard it here first.
I didn't tell you, but I watched the Clue Blu-ray last night, and so it's cool.
Nice.
When you click play, it gives you the option. You could either watch the theatrical version where you have the option, with the random ending, or with all three, the home release. So I thought that was really cool. So I ended up doing the home release because I just wanted to see all the endings again.
The Clue, the movie from the 80s, people, based on the board game. If you haven't seen it,
it's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
We just got it on Blu-ray.
Tim Curry of Home Alone 2 fame.
And in a tour de force, as they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what was it?
He's amazing.
I don't remember why. There's like... I actually was laughing a lot when he... like the part of the part of the movie when he's like reenacting everything.
Yes.
And he's imitating...
Yes.
Like Peacock and
just running around.
But like... when he's specifically doing imitations of the other people, and he does it like perfectly, and I was actually like dying. Like,
He's amazing in that.
oh, I love Tim Curry's awesome.
Star-studded cast too, whether you know it or not.
I
All
don't
of
know
those
anyone
people
other than
are.
Tim Curry.
Well, Christopher Lloyd is the
Who?
professor from Back to the Future.
Oh, I totally see that. Yeah, you're
Is
right.
Colonel Mustard
Plum.
or Plum? Oh, sorry,
Plum.
Professor
You're
Plum.
thinking Plum. No,
Colonel
I
Mustard is
recognize
Martin Mull. Miss Scarlet is
Scarlet looks
anyways.
familiar, but
They're
like,
all somebody. Trust me.
I looked up Tim Curry the one day because I was explaining to Caleb, but like,
From
what
home,
happened to Tim Curry?
I don't know. Did he get canceled? I
No,
don't know.
because like I see some pictures of him like with his face all disfigured
Oh,
and
I don't
like
know.
or in like a wheelchair or something. Like it looks like
Weird.
anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's our clue talk.
Yeah. Anyways, Moxley comes out and he said nothing's changed between them. Alan said enough. They don't act like superstars. They came from nothing. He said everything he owned, he could fit in the trunk of his car. Alan gave him everything, or AEW gave him everything, so he doesn't take it for granted. He spoke about his first year in wrestling. He looked for a hero, and people would show how fake they were. But Moxley didn't change for anybody. So Alan wanted to be like him. He spoke of Moxley still wrestling in high school gyms because he loves this stuff. And he remembered when he got to wrestle his hero Moxley while saying that he lost. He loved being in the ring with him on some indie show. My guess would be CZW.
A fair guess, I think.
But Alan yelled at Moxley for what he did to somebody he was close with, like Danielson, said he would never do that to somebody he cared about, like Sting. To what you said. Sting's indestructible. He would destroy you.
Clearly, he would destroy you.
He would like
nothing you do would have any effect, and
Sting would suffocate the bag.
You would take a reverse DDT and be done.
That reminds me. That kind of talk. I saw this real Instagram that was but jokes with Chuck Norris. Cause I think the joke is like, you know,
that
Chuck
used
Norris
to be those used to be huge, like
alpha male, like, you know, whatever.
Ago,
yeah. One of them ones was Chuck Norris drove his mom to the hospital when she was pregnant with him.
Like, exactly. Those were huge, a decade or whatever.
It was just constant stuff like that, and that was like one of the first things I watched this morning.
Probably spawned why Chuck Norris appeared on Goldberg's, I bet you, because he was super relevant from all of that. Those Chuck Norris jokes.
That would have been like a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Moxley mentioned that Alan has a title shot at Grand Slam on the 25th and said that the champion is indisposed now. So that at least gives a good reason as to why this match is happening there. Because I was like, doesn't Darby have a title shot at this show? Why would he give it up?
Right.
But that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Moxley said that's a good thing because he told Darby he's not ready, but he's going to need Alan to hand over the title shot to him. Darby wondered if Moxley had been dropped on his head or if he'd been drinking again.
That was, yeah.
That was
I like
something.
that.
Darby told Moxley he didn't earn this because Alan earned it and he dared him to do something about it. Mox said he'll earn it and he wants a match with the title shot on the line and he'll show Darby how low he is on the food chain. He said he believes in Alan, loves him, while saying he's always had his back. He said he never lied down and the title shot will be his, and this time he's going to teach him a lesson a hard way. Alan accepts, and if he says if you want to burn AEW to the ground, don't be surprised if he pulls Mox into the fire.
Good line.
I thought that was good, and Mox left.
So yeah, other than what I already said, like Darby's kind of dumb for making this. I still like the rest.
I can understand if he says Mox is his hero and he finally wants to get that win against Moxley, right? There's a bit of pride there. I agree, probably shouldn't be giving up the title shot, but I can also see where it works well enough for me.
And I like that Darby's going, listen, I came into this, like, for lack of a better term, like corporate wrestling company, and I'm an anti-corporate guy, and I looked around and the only other anti-corporate guy was you. So, and you were doing that and being super successful. So I look up to that. And I also think that explains, like, so Moxley's like, because we have that, I'm showing you the respect of, like, I'm telling you, you need to just give me that title shot, because anybody else, exactly. Right. I'm extending you that courtesy because we have whatever, but like, you should probably just give it to me, dude, because you're not ready for me to take it from you.
Yeah.
And Darby's going, no, I am. So again, at the end of the day, Darby shouldn't make that deal, but
I think it does kind of make Darby look good though. Like Mox gives him some credibility here, and then Darby's kind of standing up to him.
Yes.
In a way.
I really like the direction this is going again. Everything Mox is doing right now is like working for me. So another good segment, yeah.
If Mox keeps this trajectory, he'll at least get into Wrestler of the Year. He won't win it.
No, hell no.
He could get in there.
Yeah.
Or even best character. We'll see.
That's what I was gonna say. Like character wise, possibly, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know, Hangman's in there. There's a lot of good candidates.
Hangman might be my one.
I would also throw Gunther in there.
Perhaps.
Watching him every week, he's killing it. Even this week with Brett, I enjoyed.
that was
which we'll get to.
Such a good line.
Yes.
Good stuff from Darby and Mox. Darby sounded good again. Sometimes he's not as strong on the mic, but I thought he delivered his story well and it sounded real enough. There's got to be some grain of truth to it. So I like what he
That's
said.
exactly it. I think it's that kernel of truth of you are an extreme guy that still does stuff on the indies and stuff, and I really respect that, right? So I think there is a kernel there, probably.
Mox is never anything below stellar, so he's quality. I really love what he's been doing in this new direction. I do feel dumb for not guessing he'd be after Darby's title shots. Like, that just makes sense.
It does.
And I never
And if it's evidence of that news story, right, where they maybe were leaning into Darby and then going, oh man, Mox is back with like this amazing, so let's shift gears. Who knows? It's interesting though, regardless.
Danielson's kayfabe injuries also gives them out to book this match instead of Darby Danielson. That'd be great too, but I think this works a lot better. Looking forward to it. Mox versus Danielson has to be the play, and like I said before, I knew all this. Mox could be the one to retire Danielson, so
he could, but I just hope it takes a while to get there. I guess I don't know. I'm not looking for it to end that soon. Is all I'm saying.
I feel like it'll be a Wrestle Dream. I don't know, like
that feels soon, but yeah,
it is. But also, I feel like Danielson can't be going that long.
Maybe.
Then we get Christopher Daniels' interview. It's pretty quick. Nigel cuts him off and says he has to speak with Tony Khan, and that's basically it. Feels like it has to head to a match with Danielson.
For sure.
I see now they've been building this all along.
Right. And so my hope is, because I told you, Nigel used to be really, really good. So I'm hoping that we didn't love his performance, right? So that was shaken off the ring rest, right? And I'm hoping, but he didn't look impressive to me. Physically, like in shape, heck yes, but I thought he looked a little clunky and whatever.
He was a little clunky, yeah. And like, you also haven't been a big fan of his commentary this year, but now
it explains why. But I still don't know if it was worth.
I
agree.
The
juice is worth the squeeze, you know.
But now it does make sense, and there was rumors of him returning in the ring a while ago, so I guess it all I see the light.
And hey, good for him if he's healthy enough to be back in the ring. Like, great. It's just I'm hoping that was the shaking off the ring rust, and we get a strong match.
Yeah. Then we get Mariah May versus Queen Aminata in a women's world title eliminator. This was the match that got both of them on our radar. So this is a cool thing to see.
And I thought it delivered again, to be honest.
First Dynamite of the year was their first match.
Aminata is cool, man.
Yeah. German suplex from Aminata. Running kick to the jaw with May against the ropes from Aminata for 2. Like, just really nailed that. Draping DDT from May for 2. Running shotgun dropkick from May, followed by running knee, and she wins with a Storm Zero. May says she still hasn't had her celebration. Something's missing, so she asks Nina to come back.
Yeah, so a couple really useful things accomplished here. At the end, we figure out what May's next opponent is, right? I think we're going into an angle with Mina.
I could see that, yeah. And it also explains why she hasn't done her celebration yet, because she keeps kind of putting it off, right?
Right, because she needs her there, sort of thing. And man, I thought this was like both of these women work an aggressive kind of snug style.
I always do really enjoy the pace that they keep, yeah.
I would love to see more Aminata on Dynamite, right? Like, I think she's really interesting. And I like this match, and May continues to impress, and so does Aminata. So I thought, and yeah, we learn where we're going next with May, it looks like. So I thought this was a good women's match. It didn't get a lot of time. And of course, you pretty much know the result, even though it's an eliminator. We've had one eliminator win? Two
this year.
I knew this wasn't going to be one, but I enjoyed the match. Yeah, they hit hard.
Yeah, solid slugfest between these two again. I enjoyed it for what it was. And if Aminata got built up a bit more, I'd like a title feud between them, since they kind of had this like little thing going on, and they have that in-ring chemistry, right?
Yes.
Looking forward to Mina coming back. I feel like Storm has to show up during that ceremony thing. I wonder what role Mina will play.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it being a feud with May, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because Storm wants a rematch, right? So we'll see.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Young Bucks promo. Matt says everyone wants someone else to step up, and everyone's mad at them for staying on top, but they should be mad at the other teams for not stepping up and relieving them of their duties, and that's why they booked the tag gauntlet tonight, for someone to step up. And that was the gist of it.
So they're kind of addressing my criticisms of the tag division, but putting it in like their own, like, it's not the creatives holding them back, because they can't say that, right? They're just saying someone needs to step up, which is sort of how I feel.
Yeah.
To be honest.
For sure. Yeah, it was solid, and it did kind of address that, and hopefully some interesting heaters show up for the gauntlet. Not much.
No.
Then we got a recap of Jamie Hayter's return it all in. Then we get the luring tree against Bear County and Jack Jamison.
Bear County.
I just called them that because
FNS favorites.
They're the Iron Savages now. It doesn't really matter. Jericho's wearing the Mimosa stained jacket, gimmick infringement for Ikemen Jiro. Jericho slaps Bowler, gets dropped. Go Bear County. Jumping headbutt, Diamond Dust from Keith to Jamison. Jericho tags in, does like the come on, baby. Does it? He actually pins him.
And pins successfully.
Jericho's still mad about ruined jacket. He directly said it was over 4 years ago. Why are we still on about this? Jericho says he'll keep taking stuff from Cassie like his backpack. There's a pic of him and best friends in there. Cassius pays Jericho back by dumping $7,000 worth of pennies on Jericho's new car. All I wrote was not necessary.
I don't think the visual of the money being dropped on the car was quite as like. I guess it's like
felt Attitude Era.
But like it would have been bigger. It would have been like burying the car in it if it were Attitude Era. You know what I mean? This was like it's going to be like hail hitting your car, I guess. Which causes. Anyways, I don't know. It was and like a squash match leading to a backpack contents reveal. Like, oh, okay, this is love this show. This was like Learning Tree was
Learning
the
Tree
problem.
takes it down for sure.
Correct.
Then we hear from Nigel McGuinness. He said, since Darby's putting his title shot against Mox at Grand Slam, there's now no world title match for Danielson. He says that's great for Danielson staying at home, but it's not good for AEW, and the world champion should be competing. He talks about how long he's had to watch Danielson from the sidelines as an afterthought, and the success Danielson has should have been his. He says Danielson's afraid of him in the one match everyone wants to see. Tony Khan isn't, and he knows a money match. He says he'll face Danielson at Grand Slam, and Oasis will play him in the ring, and he asks if Danielson will join him to the final countdown, or have we already seen the final match of the American Coward? The ball is in his court.
So there he references to a couple mainstream songs, as you said, right? He'll enter to Oasis.
Was that his thing?
I guess. See.
Danielson used to use Final Countdown.
I didn't catch Nigel in ROH. I caught him in TNA.
TNA, that makes sense.
So I'm not quite sure what was going on. But yeah, I mean, I talked about it. So my thing is hopefully now we're done with his animosity on commentary towards Danielson after this because it really annoyed me. So again, just hoping they have a good match because they could for sure. So I don't know. Everything I said about Nigel, I already said. So.
Yeah, solid promo. And like I said, it makes me wonder if all that commentary has been leaning to this. If so, that's some decent long-term booking. Because it's been most of the year at least.
For sure. And that's where it seemed like it had to be going, right? It just was like, but he's kind of retired and Danielson's about to retire.
I just never thought it was actually like he was actually going to come out, you know?
Yeah.
Then we get a Hook promo. He talks about respecting Roddy, but not this version of him who jumped from behind, challenges him to a match, dares them to take the title. Something like that.
Your tone and recap matches my energy of fine, I guess, question mark. Like,
yeah.
This and the Learning Tree stuff were the only things on the show I didn't think were like strong, probably, and that's good to say.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was just kind of there.
Then we come to the Team Casino Gauntlet, which
too soon to do another gauntlet, or you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
Okay,
I find them enjoyable. So.
I like the fact that it's not singles again. I like them too. I just don't want them to like
for sure
overexpose it. Or
winners get a title shot at Grand Slam. We start off with FTR against the United Empire boys, Fletcher and Ospreay. Cash pops Ospreay over him into a slingshot powerbomb from Dax for 2. Fletcher made the save there. Paraplex gets a 2 count on Ospreay.
Always fun to see.
The Righteous enter next. Black Hole Slam from Dutch, followed by Swanton Bomb from Vincent for 2.
I like Dutch a little bit.
Snap half and half suplex to Vincent from Fletcher. And then middle rope cutter from Fletcher on Dutch for 2. OGK enter next. DVD from Bennett, followed by Taven with just the tip on Ospreay for 2. Acclaimed enter next after a commercial break. Couple finishers on Dax. MXM Collection, formerly the Maximum Male Models.
Yeah. Star-studded match this was.
They've been getting some TV time on the other shows, so at least like it's not the worst choice.
It's not.
Combo offense from MXM to Bennett. Big ol' multi-suplex spot. Top flight enter next. Tandem offense to Dutch. I wrote in brackets Dante versus Ricochet, question mark.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Be back and forth between Ospreay and Dante, which I think we did in the first Casino Gauntlet.
The crowd was very much anticipating them touching and enjoyed when they were.
I think this also happened in one of the previous gauntlets.
Yeah.
Smash contraption to Bowens. Everybody breaks the pin. Outrunners enter next, and people are excited.
They love Are they like? I mean to assume, are they from that area or something? Because they got. I think
the Outrunners have been getting traction, but maybe they are.
Yeah, their retro gimmicks kind of fun.
I've seen them getting pretty popular.
And Turbo looks like you just. They look like you plucked them from the 80s.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Outrunners, punches, and body slams for everybody. Tandem body slam to Dutch. Outrunners are over, I wrote.
They are.
GYV enter next. Brawl with FTR on stage, so they're gone. Outrunners hit their finisher on to Mansoor, but Vincent breaks the pin. Fletcher drills Bennett with a brainbuster.
Awesome.
Really cool finish. Dante goes for a splash on Fletcher, but he gets the knees up, which leaves him perfectly prone to a hidden blade from Ospreay. Fletcher pins him while Ospreay holds off Dio Madden, whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever his I don't know.
And the United Empire boys get the win.
So yeah, another really good match, and I think they do have something with these gauntlet matches, right? As long as they sort of don't hit them too many times, but it's unique to them, right? And it's kind of a cool match. And again, you don't even know how many competitors there's going to be. So that's kind of fun.
I think it's up to 21, obviously, but you don't know how many you're going to get.
21 tag teams. That would be crazy.
Yeah, because that'd be 42 people.
And despite like many of these teams, let's be honest, are almost like enhancement talent, but I thought there was really good action. Like you said,
this was still really fun, and the format is still just really good.
And the outrunners were super over here.
That was fun.
I do wish an established team won, but also Fletcher and Osprey are going to be a super awesome team to watch. So a good match with stakes to end the show, right?
For
like
sure.
a main event that mattered and affects things going forward. So I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, it definitely got crowded since we were dealing with tag teams this time. Not all the choices were like big time, but it was still good. No outsiders, so that kind of sucks. I would like to see some heater from somewhere else.
We agree.
If they weren't signed, ABC would be my
just an opportunity for somebody new to show up.
Yeah. This is still fun and fast paced, kept me entertained. Smart starters in the United Empire fellas and FTR. A lot of good action. Osprey and Dante need a solo outing. FTR great in and out. Outrunners and Righteous got some love. Outrunners were over as hell. That was pretty fun. Fletcher and Osprey getting the win makes sense. Doesn't help the division that guys who haven't teamed together in a while won, but a match with the Bucks should be killer at least.
I agree. Overall, man, this was my favorite Dynamite in quite some time. Outside of Learning Tree stuff and Hook stuff, like I pretty much really liked, and it's the storyline stuff. It's Blackpool is awesome. Darby was awesome. Mox and Pac speaking got a chance to speak was awesome, right? So, and I liked all of the matches on the show as well, to be honest. So I gave the show an A-. I thought if the Learning Tree were only on once or one more match were a little bit more blowaway, it would be an A show. But like this, the first hour and like quarter of this flew by to me.
It was an easy watch for sure.
I really enjoyed it. I went A-. I thought it was a super strong show.
I think I'll agree with that because I really enjoyed the Moxley stuff, and it was like 3 strong bits of the show.
Yeah.
It's super interesting and it keeps me engaged every week, so I'm really excited to see where else that goes. And none of the matches are bad. I would have liked something more notable, but like
Guevara Ricochet was cool, right?
Guevara Ricochet was really fun. The opener was pretty good, and the main event was really fun.
Women's match was good.
We're one like better match away from a better grade.
Agree.
Or
one less Learning Tree segment.
Yeah. But yeah, this is still strong overall, so I'll agree with that. Really strong Dynamite and a good follow up from like the kind of doubleheader pay per view.
Yeah.
Time.
We're in new directions with a certain people, and I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward.
Yeah, Wrestle Dream could shape up really well if like if the stories keep progressing, kind of crescendo there, and I guess kind of on the way to that, we'll have Grand Slam, which will be TV, but it'll be some major stuff happening with a couple of the matches on there.
And that's kind of why I was turning to Raw a lot, because there were storylines on there I was really into, and AEW was sort of lacking in that department. And now it's sort of turning where Raw, I'm like, some of them have been going on too long or seem repetitive, and AEW's got some fresh ones now. So it's kind of like a cyclical deal, it feels like.
It is a little.
But really good show. We'll move into next segment. We'll challenge you with a little bit of trivia. We like to call it Off the Top of His Head. All right, so sort of piggybacking off of last week, because I liked that it was just MJF's greatest matches, right? So I figure sometimes I'm just going to take a timely name and see if you can list all the matches. So we're going with Moxley, based on his return and his impact and how much we're enjoying him being back in the mix right now. We're going to look at AI generated, okay? 15 best, because I'm lazy.
They didn't seem to screw up last time. So
no, I agree. That was one of the best performances of AI that we've had, I think. Moxley's 15 best AEW matches. So same thing. Why don't you just try and call some out? And then if you're, you know what I mean? And I'll eliminate those as we go. And I'll tell you what number like last week. So Moxley, I'll tell you, they're ranging from 2019 is the earliest to 2023. So nothing from this year, if that helps you.
I don't think anything from this year would.
So maybe AI is right. I just didn't want to trust them implicitly. You know what I mean? So
Mox Omega Full Gear 2019. That's out.
That is number 1.
That one.
So that is gone. Very good.
Moxley Eddie Full Gear 2020.
Hold on.
I Quit.
Full Gear 2020 is I Quit match. That is number 5. Very good. I need to get the sound effects from whatchamacallit, Family Feud going right here.
Anarchy in the Arena, we'll say 2022, Double or Nothing. I think that one was pretty well regarded.
Double or Nothing 2022?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to scroll through the list here. That
or 23.
Did not make the list.
What 2023?
Double or Nothing 2023. What was that?
Anarchy in the Arena again.
No, but there is a Double or Nothing on there, but it's a singles match.
Brody Lee,
Correct.
2020.
Correct. Very good. And that was for the World Championship.
Title,
yeah. Okay, so that was number 3.
I mean, you could do Mox Cassidy All Out last year. I feel like this one.
I believe that is correct. Sorry, I got to consult my list. From All Out, you said?
Last year.
I have Mox Cassidy, but not from All Out.
Full Gear.
Is there another one?
Full Gear.
No.
That's the only
And
other
again, they
option.
could be wrong. So they said Mox Orange Cassidy from Revolution 2023. Did not happen.
Mox.
Would you like the description?
No, because that was the show where Moxley faced Hangman and they changed his theme song. That was Moxley, Hangman, Texas Death.
Okay. All right, so we'll get rid of that one. Go
Moxley,
ahead.
Hangman, Texas Death from that show can't possibly be
Moxley, Hangman.
That would be Revolution 2023. So
I do have Moxley, Hangman on
from
here.
Dynamite?
Yes.
I don't honestly couldn't tell you when.
In 2023.
I know there was one in 2023. I just don't remember the date because I think they
Doesn't matter. October.
They had a few matches.
Okay, so that one.
October 23.
I'll give you that one. October 18th, it says. Now, who knows?
I think it was October 22 because I think it was when Moxley was still. It was when Moxley was champion before MJF. So, and that was the one where Hangman got concussed. Because I think, hold on. Mox versus Hangman, October. I didn't spell that right.
So you've got how many checked off?
October 18th, 2022. Boom, I knew it.
You've got 5 gone, and you're again, you know more than AI.
Okay. I don't Mox MJF. We'll go with the Full Gear one, probably 22.
I do see a Mox MJF. Hold on.
Either that or the All Out one didn't make an MJF list. I doubt it would make it on the Mox.
It did. All Out what year?
2020.
Correct. That's number 4.
Really?
The other one is not there. That is the only one I see.
Okay.
Between those two.
Mox Danielson, Revolution 22.
Mox Danielson is not on the list.
Mox Jericho, Revolution 2020.
Mox Jericho. Yes. Number 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So
you're missing number 5. Oh, no, you got the top 5 gone. So that's pretty good. You're missing 6 through 10.
Pay-per-views.
So I can tell you, Dynamite, Special Dynamite.
Moxley Omega Winter is coming.
Moxley Omega Winter is coming. I did see another Moxley Omega. Is that the one? It is. Winter is coming. What year?
2020.
Correct.
December 2nd.
That is number 7.
Mox Omega Exploding Barbed Wire Revolution 21.
Did not qualify.
Didn't think so, but worth a try because it was notable.
We've got a couple with some big men that don't win too often.
Mox Hager?
No.
That was the one he had.
One of those dust them off people we talk
Archer?
about. Correct.
That was the Texas Death. Wasn't that like Fight for the
That
Fallen?
we like that match. They're saying Dynamite July 21st, but
it was Fight for the Fallen or Fighter Fest. That is a Dynamite, so they might not have just mentioned it, but I know it was one of those.
There is a Fighter Fest with a person of similar
Cage.
Yes, that's there. Oh, sorry, you're right. There's 2 Moxley Archers on there.
Yeah.
So there's a no DQ and then Texas Death. And then yes, Moxley and Cage is number 10 from Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, let me regroup here and see the only things you're missing now. You are missing number 8, which was from a Dynamite in August of 2020, according to this.
Mox Darby.
Correct. Wow. That's a detail that got you there. That's good.
Yeah, well, it's that, and they mentioned it recently. So
you've got 2 more, which is number 9, Dynamite in September of 2021, with a visiting legend.
Suzuki.
Correct.
That was the one where I think where you hit the Death Rider and it was just like an hook suplex.
And then number 12, Dynamite 2023, Clash of Styles, faced a high flyer. If this is correct.
Dante?
No. Somebody who's probably on the way out.
Yeah.
Phoenix, yeah. Did that happen?
They had the match, but that was the one where Moxley got concussed.
You don't think it was Moxley's 12th greatest AEW match, perhaps?
I think so.
Anyways, you got them all. We got around to it. Good job. And AI was not as flawless as last week, but pretty good still.
Because they flubbed the
above average, but last year was peak AI. Anyways, great job. We're going to transition back into talking about whatever we watched this week that we thought was notable. I've pared it down a bit. I think it'll be quicker than normal, but we always say that. So let's find out. It's Highspots and Restholds. Okay, so we are going to start out talking about Raw. I did make a note generally that it was a really good crowd. They were in Calgary, obviously. Very good crowd, into it right from the opening match. And just a quick summary of the show: started really well, ended really well. And then kind of in between, there was a bunch of copy paste stuff, but still some stuff I liked along the way. So I'm organizing things into like good, sort of mid and bad for this, and then I eliminate a bunch of stuff that just kind of doesn't really merit talking about, right? So you watched it with me. I thought the opening match was really good. It was the 8-person street fight, right, with the Wyatt Six and Made in America.
American Made. What are you saying?
Sorry, American Made. I literally put Made in America. I said I don't know if you remember any notable stuff, but there were
tables,
couple table spots, right? I'd like Rowan took a double dominator basically through a table.
I don't think I saw. I came partway through into this, I think.
And then Rowan later used a piece of a barricade as a weapon, right? He was knocking people over with it. Loomis hit like a top rope double leg drop to Brutus through a table on the floor. Action was constant and it didn't feel stale. Like despite it being, like a no DQ WWE
in a post
match,
Hangman Swerve world,
right? I still thought that they were doing things a little bit differently and using different things than a normal match.
Yeah,
and
I thought they did pretty well.
I thought the crowd seemed into Loomis quite a bit. The finishing sequence saw Rowan hit an iron claw, that slam to Gable on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a choke slam, but he does it with the iron claw.
But yeah, onto the steel steps. And then Uncle Howdy, who to this point had been like watching from a rocking chair on the ramp, right?
Yeah, because he's not technically in the match.
Right, but he got in the ring and it's no DQ. So he hit it like a nasty Sister Abigail on Julius, who took it like a champ.
He sold it amazingly.
Then Loomis hit a top rope splash to Gable with Rowan, quote unquote, adding force to it, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know what the point of that is, really.
20-minute opener. I thought it was really fun, and I think that really good TV match. I also think the Wyatts needed this, right? Because
I kind of like it gave them more of a competitive outing.
Yes, and maybe having all of it being no DQ is helpful.
Also hides some of the in ring.
Yeah, if there are some, right? So I thought it was a really good TV match, and thought it sort of over delivered for me. So I was quite happy with it. I also thought another good thing, I guess a high spot, if you will, was the really good main event, jumping all the way to the end. It was the number one contenders fatal 4-way, right? It was Uso, Dragunov, Pete Dunne, Braun Strowman. Unfortunately, the result was what we feared. So that's not great.
The worst possible outcome is that Pete Dunne took the pin, but I guess it was always going to be him or Dragunov.
Right. And there was one spot where Dragunov went for a Van Daminator to Dragunov, but like got caught flush with an Uso super kick. And just the way I almost sent you a clip of it. The way Dragunov crumpled looked amazing, and they even showed it in slow motion. And when they do, like, usually they show slow motion up until the point of impact, and then they go.
Yeah,
they actually kept slow motion the whole time, and it still looked awesome. And it's like his knees buckled, and his legs ended up collapsing underneath him as he fell. It looked incredible.
Remember the one super kick spot from early AEW with Guevara.
Dragunov adds drama, man. Like, he just does. So Braun at one point got attacked because Bronson Reed sort of showed up out of nowhere and jumped off the barricade. And
I saw because they had some platform there,
sort of a tsunami, but Strowman was kind of standing, but he still ended up going through the announce table. So it looked pretty good, I thought. And then that was it for Braun, right? They had to find a way to take him out of this because he's the monster. So Dragunov hits a power bomb, then an H bomb. Uso breaks up the pinfall with a super kick to Dragunov, and then Uso splashed to Dunn, and Jay pins Dunn. Again, a 20-minute match. I thought Dunn and Dragunov looked really good in this. Dunn picked up like a wicked shiner somewhere in this because he showed up on NXT the next night.
Oh yeah, he did look
serious black eye. Winner aside, really good 4-way, right? And Dunn, I forget how they said it, but it was like he's more than just a technician. Like, he's a technician, but he's also like we say, right? He can brawl, he can do whatever you want, sort of thing.
Just not Butch.
And Dragunov just added to the drama, and Uso was fine for his part, and Braun was like...
It does hide his lack of talent in a multi-person thing.
And then Braun was like the monster that they needed to work to take out for stretches of time, right? So that, because otherwise he was just going to dominate them because he's so big. So I thought they did a good job of presenting. Really well laid out match, I thought. And then kind of in between, you had Braun Breaker interacting with each competitor in that main event. So he's talking to each one of the
Okay, because
four-way.
I know he talked to Uso before, so at least that makes it less like obvious it's just gonna be Uso.
It was him basically being menacing to each of them. And he had at one of them when he was talking to Dunn, Sheamus shows up and attacks Dunn, right, to further that story. Um, and I thought it was a smart way again to get Braun sprinkled in the show without having him in a match. And he sounds like, remember him at the beginning of NXT, like 2.0?
Who, Braun? Yeah, he used to
He was so
suck.
bad. So
Braun used to
he is
suck.
like at least competent to good, I think, on the mic now. So he's
Yeah.
believable. So like sky's the limit for him.
Especially
Right?
now he's found himself as like the vicious heel character.
Yes.
Like, especially now he's not like the colorful smiley baby face kind of thing.
Exactly. If they keep writing well for him, like
Yeah,
sky's the limit.
easily.
Right. And then you had Gunther interrupting Bret Hart. And he's basically I love Gunther right now. He basically tells Bret like, it's good we're in the ring together, kind of, because you can pass the torch to me because you're the best there
Yeah.
ever was. I'm the best there is and the best there ever will be. Right. So that was awesome. Then yes, he works in telling him that Bret, I think he's like, Bret, you're my second favorite wrestler of all time, and that my favorite is Goldberg, which I thought, and you like, yeah, Gunther's just
hilarious
killing
because
it.
like the opposite kind of wrestler of Gunther, but just because it's Brad, obviously, and Gunther's a heel, you had to
Awesome.
do it.
And then Sami Zayn comes out. He's wearing a Calgary Flames jersey of a player that just died. I think him and his brother
Yeah,
got hit. They were on bikes, I think.
guy from work told me about that. Yeah,
So they a nod to that, which was kind of nice. But anyways, he comes out, challenges Gunther to a match. Gunther again is basically like, "You're not on my level, so no." And then Bret
even though
Hart,
he lost him.
right? Bret Hart calls him a bunch of names. Gunther kind of like teases he might get physical with Hart, and then Sammy steps in, little bit of a brawl. Sammy and Bret hug as sort of Gunther blinks away, I guess.
Brett was linked to Sammy's main roster debut back in the day.
Was he?
It was Cena's open challenge for the
Oh
U.S. title,
yeah.
and Brett introduced him. But that was the match where Sammy like blew out his shoulder doing his
Right,
entrance.
doing his own, yeah, doing his like flinging his
Yeah,
arms. Or I remember
yeah.
that. Gunther's just amazing right now as the like, I'm just better than all of you, but also like still kind of trying to avoid the only guy that's pinned him on main roster.
Yeah, it's a weird balance he's striking.
But I
right
think
now.
it's kind of, I don't know, I like it, and he speaks really well, and he's just
I
crushing
trust
it.
him to deliver it.
Agree. One of my high spots is Dragon Lee is really good in ring.
Well, yeah, once they remember he exists.
So he lost to Dom's Frog Splash after Liv hit him with a chop block, but like he's good, man. When he strings together some of his offense, it looks
like
awesome.
Operation Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Some mid stuff, like to use the kids' terms, Judgment Day stuff.
I think honestly MJF brought that back in the promos because I've talked to some people who know that clip of that promo, and no one like they don't know who MJF is.
Right. It's sort of transcended wrestling a little bit, I think. So Judgment Day beat the hell out of Priest after Priest accepted a challenge from Balor for Bad Blood.
At least they finally. Oh, that's a card update. I forgot. But at least they're finally getting kind of one up on them because I feel like the Judgment Day have been getting bitched out week after week.
They have.
Tag champs taking multiple losses to non-teams.
And Ripley comes out. She gets chop blocked by Liv and beaten down as well. And then Uso runs out, and he's so terrifying, obviously, the Judgment Day
He's
sort
like
of leave.
the equivalent of Old Man Sting.
So, again, standard numbers game stuff, but like I'm fine with getting a Balor Priest match.
Priest
Makes
could be
sense,
solid,
right?
yeah.
So, then there was the Women's Tag Team Championships, Belair and Jade Cargill versus, I guess they're the Unholy Union is their name. I didn't even know. Fire and Dawn. And again, there's no teams in this division. This is copy and paste.
2 of the 3.
So fine match, but it's like stale, right? So whatever. Balor and Rey Mysterio had a fine 8-minute match, but it was a DQ because Balor wouldn't break the hold submission he had with Rey in the ropes.
It's like a half crab in the ropes.
It was, right? So a decent quick match to get Balor heel heat, right? And Rey's a good choice in that role, I guess.
Because he doesn't need to win, I guess, right? So
exactly.
It's fine.
So I guess the rest holds on this. I had Pure Fusion Collective taken on Natalia is the surprise partner. And you get to watch Natalia dominate your new heel stable of shooters, right? So I was like, what are you guys doing? I get
in what universe is Marina Shafir looking better than Shayna Baszler?
And
that's the world we live in right now.
And it's the Calgary Pop they went for, right? But kind of at the expense of this new super tough heel group. And the finishing, did you see the finishing? So it was triple sharpshooter and Stark taps.
Poor Baszler.
So fun for the live crowd, right? But not for me. I didn't enjoy it. And then Adam Pearce kind of bugged me because he's coming out interrupting Drew, and he did make, as we expected, the Hell in a Cell match between the two. But he came across as like just sucking up to Punk, and I found it grating. You know what I mean? Especially because we think Drew has had really valid points.
The only valid points. Yeah.
And my thing was like, if you didn't know and you tuned in and watched Pierce, and I said, "What's his role?" You would be like, "Oh, he's
corrupt authority figure."
No, I think you'd be like, "Oh, he's CM Punk's manager. Like he's an agent for Punk."
Oh, okay. I mean,
right? Not the general manager of the entire show. So that kind of bugged me just because it's Punk and he bugs me, right? So I thought Drew sounded really good, and he was trying to address Barrett and saying like, why did you stop me from ending CM Punk? And I think that happened at the PLE we didn't watch or something, I guess.
The Germany one, I guess, yeah.
So anyways, I just didn't like it was like, oh yeah, well CM Punk wants this and CM Punk says this. So, you know what I mean?
One of the points Drew made that was kind of good was that he like beat he beat Punk and then Punk won a match because he touched 4 corners.
Right, that was in there as well. Yeah. Yes, like big deal. That's not really like winning me. That beating me. That's just like kind of lame. The only other thing I had that I don't like is Karrion Kross with long hair and no facial hair is no good.
I just don't like him.
So he's now recruiting the Miz, and Xavier Woods comes in and kind of warns Miz about Kross, right? Like, oh, he'll tell you what he wants, and then Woods and Kofi are getting a tag title shot, and there is a little bit of tease. I thought kind of well done. More like passive aggressive stuff between Woods and Kofi, like something about. I think it was Kofi was like, I was here at work while you were off doing, I don't know if it was video game stuff or whatever Woods was doing. And then Woods saying something about like, oh, I thought we were doing single stuff now, but it's awesome to have a tag match. Like really subtle kind of like, we're still not communicating perfectly. There's something going on there.
I mean, I guess
so we'll see.
About time Judgment Day actually defend the tag titles too.
Right? It seems that way. Moving to NXT, you saw a little bit. Like I said, no one notices Jada Parker lurking in the parking lot with a bat.
3 times.
So like
3 times.
3 different people are arriving to the show, right? Like I think it might have been.
Did we ever figure out what she was doing?
Jordan, yeah, we do.
Okay.
I think it was Jordan Grace and somebody else entering the building, and Jada Parker is just standing there with a bat, and nobody has anything to say about it.
Like commentary, you see that 3 times in the back of your shot, and you're just like, no.
Nope, no big deal. I thought a really good opening tag match with kind of a disappointing finish, right? So was supposed to be the Rascals, and I think the implication is that Wes took out Miguel.
He said it later when he challenges Wentz to a street fight.
Yeah, right? That basically this is between me and you sort of thing, right? So really good action. I like the Street Profits. They have that like pounce into a German suplex spot. We had a missile drop kick into a high-low by Fraxium that was kind of cool, right? And then the Profits hit the Street Sweeper, as you pointed out. Ford goes for the pin, but the Bloodline come out and cause a DQ and then just kind of beat down the Profits. I assume they have issues with them from SmackDown.
Yeah, it's whatever, but we got Steve Fatu.
I didn't love that he did the senton. It didn't look as good as the moonsault where he doesn't even look, right? Where he just jumps up, moonsault, crushes you.
Yeah.
But he still looks crazy. So I thought the match was fun while it lasted.
Tongaloa didn't mess anything up.
No, he did not. I would have loved for Fraxium to get a clean win over a main roster team, and man, Dawkins is good now, eh?
Street Profits are really fun.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
they had that match with DIY that was killer, right?
Yeah, and they're just like, we don't care about tag teams, basically. Yeah. We got a Julia hype package, and then she beat Chelsea Green in 7 minutes. I thought Julia showcased her strikes and high impact stuff, which is the bulk of her offense, right? She's gonna like suplex you and drop you, and then kick you a lot. So she won with a Northern Lights bomb. Thought it was a pretty solid match. I quite liked the Heritage Cup match. It was Charlie Dempsey with Bourne and Ren Sinclair defending against Javon Evans, and Cedric Alexander was there as well.
Guess first corner, man. Yeah.
These guys worked well together, man. Like Dempsey got the first fall with a bridging Northern Lights suplex that looks good. Evans got the second when I told you, like that twisting splash thing, like he absolutely drilled it to Dempsey. And then,
oh yeah, you did tell me.
Dempsey got the deciding fall with the return of Tavion Heights, right? So
nice.
He hit a really big belly to belly to Evans on the floor.
His belly to belly is pretty nasty.
And then I thought it was a really fluid transition to like hit it, kind of pops up, grabs him, and throws him in the ring like really efficiently. It's a detail, but I really liked it. And then Dempsey ends up covering him for the win. There was one scary spot where Evans did that leap over the corner to the floor. I think it turns it into a senton over.
Yeah, because the thing that he did the trick at Heatwave where they went through the barricade.
But he didn't get all of it, and it looked like it was
like he kind of splatted
dangerous
on the floor, yeah.
But like, I thought this was a really good match, and I thought it was a smart way to have Heights return as well, and I think they should maybe look at
Forgot
pushing
he's
him.
been gone. I think they definitely would, especially since they're all about like the former Olympians, and since Gable kind of fell through, Tavion seems to have something, right? So he doesn't have quite the name value, but like,
Yes.
I mean, does Gable even really have the name value other than the
No.
fact that they put hype around him?
Right. They just were hoping he had some,
So
like,
I feel
mainstream
like they should
appeal.
want to push Tavion for sure, especially now that he's back from his what was it? He went to Noah, right?
Yes, that's right.
Their G1 equivalent.
Yes. So they mentioned he went, but who else went? And
Briggs.
they didn't talk about him very
Briggs.
much. So, and Evans, I don't know, man. There's something about, like, yes, he's this bouncy, flippy guy, but there's something more there. Like,
I think
you're really
once they kind of figure out what they want to do with his character, then
you're really aware that he's so young and hyper athletic that that's his advantage against these veterans and these, like, amateur wrestling shooter guys, right? And so, like, it kind of makes sense that
kind of like what you were saying about Rush before.
yeah, that he's doing what he's doing. So there's something about this kid that I think he just keeps rising to the occasion, right? And this was like a kind of lengthy singles match. Now it was the classic. I think it was round 3. I lost because of commercials, but him and Dempsey worked really well together, man. I thought this was a very good match. Sorry, I need to clear something off the computer. There we go. Then we get they're trolling me now officially, TNA and NXT. Did you see the Rosemary video? Like, really
I
slick,
didn't know there was one.
really slick production and stuff, but like, it's her stuff, so it's like she's too far over the top and too far, like, this is, again, I always say, like a high school drama production. And it was
With
something about,
realms.
like, you need to look under the bed and then she appears, like, pulling herself out looking scary. But also, like, she's had 2 matches and lost really quickly. So
So
now
like nobody's.
now she's to be feared, right? So kind of
I don't. Yeah, I
disconnect.
don't think so.
I'm not down for this super spooky. And by the way, I'm aligned with Wendy Chu because spooky, right? Like, that's basically where we're going with. So
No, that's gonna be
annoying.
great.
Ethan Page tells Sarah, what is it, Schreiber, I think, that he'll pick up the scraps from the Trick Dunn match. And and I thought, did you think, does Page beat Trick next time they face each other? Because it's coming. Not to spoil the
I
end,
hope
but
so, but
I don't think so, right? And then that begs the question: how's Ethan Page's title run been? Not the best.
not
You know what
his
I mean?
nothing
Like, they left money on the table
through no
for me.
fault of his own.
Agree.
Like, because his matches have been solid and his promo work's good for what he can do, but like they keep booking him to look
Get pinned by jobbers all the time. But it's phantom pins. So, anyways, not my favorite. Tony D'Angelo paid somebody to take out Obafemi, right? And we see in a silhouette it's somebody really big, and he is. It's Hammerstone. So, pretty good match. Surprisingly short, like 5 minutes, with Femi winning clean with this pop-up power bomb. So there was a little bit early on where it's like, oh, we've never seen anybody handle Femi like this, because Hammerstone does get some offense in and send him to the floor and stuff. For me, the impressive part is Femi's hitting all the stuff he hits to everybody else, but like, this is a 265-pound, like, bodybuilder guy that he's still just tossing him around like
Yeah.
he's Javon Evans. You know what I mean? So that to me is kind of impressive. And they sort of broached the subject of comparing Femi, like his run so far, to Goldberg. So it's like, are they sort of teasing that we're going to just have this guy win and win and win and win forever?
Could do it.
They could, right?
Go up on.
And I did notice he's leaning heel because, the classic, like, referee goes to raise your hand and you're like, nah,
Yeah.
you did that. So I think it's more signaling. Well, plus the anti-women stuff from last week is kind of leading me to believe he's maybe going heel. And then it's interesting because now Tony D'Angelo is like ducking Obafemi, right? He's a baby face. And
also,
I think
he lost, so why is this still going?
it was almost like Femi was like, I'll beat you again. And he was like, no, Stax can handle this. And then now it's like, now I'm paying somebody. So again, I'm open to it. Is Femi such a dominant heel that even like baby faces are afraid to face him?
But like, this should have been done before, like, not, I don't know, they already wrestled, so it's
True.
weird.
But it's now I know officially what it feels like to wrestle you, and I don't want to do it again.
Then why, like,
I was overconfident before. I now know I have no chance.
Why does Oba want to be involved in this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Another note I have is that NXT really need to find a new way/place to showcase their women, because again, we're like multiple segments in the locker room. Who will accept Jordan Grace's open challenge from earlier in the show? Then Fatal Influence. Is that right?
Yes.
They show up and argue with Lola Vice. Later in the same location, Ren Sinclair is suggesting that Kalani Jordan have an open challenge like Jordan Grace, and Lonnie is like, no. So I'm wondering there's almost teasing of her too. Like she's like, no, you should just focus on your match. And then Jada Parker walks in with her bat. She's looking for Fatal Influence.
Oh, okay.
And Lola Vice is kind of like, hey, I have issues with them too. And Parker's like, kind of like, cool, I'm not looking for help, which I thought was awesome. And she's a badass. I enjoy
I
Jada
guarantee
Parker
they'll come
a
back
lot.
around to like a can they coexist?
Right.
It'll come back.
They can't help themselves,
Yeah.
right? The only thing they know.
Well, they're pretending not to right now, just so that you're kind of like, oh, okay, and then they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
anyways.
exactly. So I don't know if I'm picking up on something from Lonnie right now.
No one does it like her.
She can't cut a babyface promo, right? So,
But
but also her style
can
and
she
her
cut
look,
a promo at all? Is
her
the
style
question.
and her look are very babyface. Like it's going to be a tough.
That's true.
I don't know, but we'll see. Again, Punk's going to call Julie about an idea he has. So cool. Ridge Holland beat Duke Hudson in 4 minutes with his Redeemer, is what they're calling the Rampage now. And so post match, Holland runs Hudson through the barricade, then takes a chunk of the barricade and hits the Redeemer again onto it.
I don't think the barricade actually adds.
I don't either.
Unless
You're dropping him less far onto the padded
more
part.
padding. Unless you drop him on like the exposed inside.
Like I get
part.
it, but that's right. Flip it over, and then we got something.
Then there's something.
And Thea Hale watches in horror. I still think that we're gonna learn at some point that Hale is in on this.
I feel like it's a safe bet.
It's the Shakespearean. She doth protest too much. You know what I mean? To throw Shakespeare into a wrestling podcast. So yeah, that's what we want. That's just smart. That's just good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good. What is that? Synergy, cross promotion, whatever. So I think it's one of those they now know Thea Hale as babyface, and if we're gonna move her to anywhere else, let's see.
You need to kind of.
And they sort of teased it with JC Jane for like a week or two, right?
Or like her potentially not even like just potentially being corrupted.
I just think there's
going all the way.
There's too many glaring examples of her being like, "Oh my God, Ridge, what are you doing?" for it to be not something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Little on the nose.
Agree. So Wesley then at one point steals Vic Joseph's headset and basically implies that he's the one that took out Miguel because he's like, my issue is with Wentz, right? So we need to consider this. So he wants Wentz in a street fight on October 1st, and I'm still not convinced of Wesley as a heel right now, but that match should be awesome.
Match should be good because I enjoyed the first one.
Agree, and so now it's going to be like they can do more stuff, so hoping for that. Jordan Grace beat Sol Ruca in the open challenge to defend her TNA Knockouts Championship. She won by DQ, though, because Rosemary came out. And that allowed Wendy Chu to sneak up from behind and apply a choke to Jordan Grace. So, again, Rosemary has almost jobbed for 2 weeks in a row, but now she's this giant threat to Jordan Grace, who's like the ultimate undefeatable powerhouse, right?
Makes sense.
I enjoyed some of the action before we got to the DQ. I thought Ruca and Grace were having a decent little match. And Grace is just a crazy combination of speed and power, man. Tatum Paxley is showing her dollhouse and all of her dolls to Lyra. Sure. Lyra's not really good with character stuff, right? So I don't know if she's dipping back down to work on that.
This is her stalker also.
Exactly. That's the part of it, right? Lyra was okay. Paxley did at one point pop the head off the Barbie she was holding, and that was kind of funny. Other notable from this segment, so she had some WWE figures. One of them, she made reference to Becky Lynch. Currently not contracted Becky Lynch.
Not contracted, not appearing anywhere.
Right. So I was wondering.
'Tis odd.
Right? Interesting of all of the people she could have picked. But maybe is that because she faced Lyra at one point, right?
Yeah, Lyra beat her for the title.
Right. Oh, right. Right.
Halloween Havoc last year.
Funaki's back, did you hear? What role's he in? He was like translating for Julia.
Makes sense.
Who is, I looked it up, she is half Japanese, half Italian.
That is not.
So anyway, she and Perez have a segment where Perez is annoyed that Julia gets a title shot. Kind of reasonable, right? Like you just showed up. I get you have pedigree and whatnot, but Julia says that Perez, she's like, I get it. You're scared and you should be. And I thought that was cool, like limited, because she's kind of like stops Funaki, like I understood that, and kind of like you're scared and you should be. So I thought that was good. Sean Spears is trying to gaslight Jensen, and Lennox is there trying to tell Jensen exactly that, right? I think Spears has done a good job here with this faux sincere con man, and like Jensen's doing a good job too of being like a little confused and vulnerable, and you can see like he's the type of person that would be prone to manipulation
Right.
by somebody, right? He's looking for guidance, he's looking for whatever.
Right.
So I actually Spears is kind of, I've been very down on
That
him
is
for the
true.
most part, so I didn't mind it. Two more things. Ashante Theodonis was funny again. Runs into Thorpe with like he must have had 8 to a dozen women in tow with him this week. Still, he calls him DJ Platonic again, which I still enjoyed. And it's this thing of like he's refusing to believe that Thorpe is not trying to pick up these women.
Thorpe's not a con man.
Right. So it's projecting, right? Like it's that idea of the only reason I would be around 10 women is because I'm trying to get with one to many of them. So that must be true of everybody else
Right.
because that's what I would do.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of funny. He's showing some charisma, right? Like he's interesting to me. And then I put in terms that you would enjoy. Pete Dunne lost his second main event in 2 nights, right? He got hit, or sorry, he actually hit the Russian leg sweep, right? Off a platform through tables. And then Ethan Page comes out to stop Trick from winning, but Trick hits him with a backdrop through the announce table, and then Trick gets up and Dunn stays down, and Trick wins. And of course, we're getting Trick versus Page, which we sort of mentioned.
Guess at least you can't get pinned in this one.
It was a pretty good match. Dunn looks really good. And I put he's likely carrying Trick at that point, right? To a good match.
Has to be.
And I think matches that don't force Trick to be super technical like this one are probably a good idea at this point. A good match, predictable result. I liked NXT this week, not as much as Dynamite, but it seems like they're trying to ramp up ahead of switching networks, right? Like they want to hit the ground running.
They're definitely stacking it up, right?
On CW. So I thought it was a pretty enjoyable show. I quite liked the Heritage Cup match, actually. So a decent NXT. You said you had one thing from SmackDown, possibly?
The only thing I was mentioning, I forgot to even write it down, but was that Melo Andrade 5 was pretty good.
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
Running kind of turned into an unofficial best of 5 series, I think.
Right.
Because it was 2-2. Melo's gear was cool in the purple and gold, but like the one notable saw was they did like that, that thing they do where they get caught on the ropes and then they do like the reverse Spanish fly where they both.
Yes.
They did that, but off the barricade on the floor.
Oh, cool.
Which looked pretty good. And then Andrade won with like a avalanche message.
What's that?
That's his finisher.
Avalanche message. What's the actual thing?
It's like a butterfly twist into a neck breaker.
Okay. That's cool.
So yeah,
love those guys.
Andrade will get a shot at LA Knight, which will probably be on TV because they refuse to put mid-card titles on pay-per-views.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aside from when Braun won, or aside from SummerSlam.
Yeah, they really don't. Mid-card and tag team, right? Or
the tag teams are especially what I'm thinking, yeah.
Rare. I did watch, I told you the TNA 1 thing. You don't remember what it was? Because I was cooking something, so I'm like, oh, it's on right now. I'll just start watching it live. And it was just in time to see Ash by Elegance versus Zaya Brooks.
Oh.
So I was like, I actually did see that Ash has a new lackey or somebody with her whose name I already forget. I feel like I've heard the name in the wrestling world before.
Probably.
But it was another blonde lady. I didn't quite recognize her. But anyways, that is all I had. Do you have any figure update this week?
I don't think so.
Wow. So that's going to bring us to the end, I think, of episode 217. That was a fun one. My energy was good considering I got like 4 hours sleep. I think I did okay. Well, the 2 cups of coffee I had an iced coffee on the drive home and one here to start.
I look more tired than you.
Yeah, I think you do. You need to get some sleep. But anyways, we've got to get this little bit of production done, get this published, get you to work. We'll be back here a week from today to talk about another week of wrestling on episode 218. We really do appreciate any listens, any comments, any advice, any opinions you can give us are always welcome on whatever platform you're listening to. If I notice you comment, I will reply. I'm pretty good about doing that. So thanks again for joining us. See you back here next Saturday. Until then, everybody, take care.